Chapter 1525, Grand Duke of Dawn, 2. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Secret Records of the Emperor of the Fourth Reich, Conquest Chapter, P79. Tang Xiao bowed slightly and nodded to Earl Dooku. The Dawn Territory will continue to be a member of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, working hand in hand with the Confederation to fight for the freedom and justice of the Milky Way. The so-called Dawn Territory is the abbreviation for the territory of Grand Duke Li-Ming. It is also the fourth civilization that has not yet been officially recognized. This title will remain until Tang Xiao becomes king, which should not take too long. Once the Galactic Empire is established, Tang Xiao will ascend to kingship, a fact well known to all. The two leaders made a very official declaration outlining the relationship between the Federation of Independent Galaxies and the Dawn Territory. They emphasized cooperation, joint resistance to the Galactic Republic, and grievances against the Jedi Order. With the support of top writers, an excellent soundtrack, and a well-crafted atmosphere, these scenes were incredibly moving. Countless audience members were moved to tears, raising their arms and shouting, creating an extremely warm atmosphere. Tang Xiao's wife, Adele Ulan, then flew into the air on an anti-gravity platform. Despite the complete security facilities, the small disk, less than 1 square meter in size, was still a few hundred meters high, making Adele Ulan turn pale with fright. Nevertheless, she gracefully bowed her head slightly lower in front of Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao nodded, helped Adele Ulan up with his hands, and held her white hand tightly. At this moment, under the control of the lighting special effects artist, the phoenix on Adele Ulan's dress seemed to come alive, spreading its wings as if about to fly. Behind Tang Xiao, a golden dragon appeared, baring its teeth and claws, ferocious and terrifying. Under such an effect, Tang Xiao held Adele Ulan and stood in the air, receiving the worship of countless people. Only the people of the Dawn Territory would understand the meaning of this effect and the ambition contained within it. After all, a mere Grand Duke is absolutely not qualified to use the ritual of Dragon and Phoenix. After that, the three of them flew back to the ground together. Tang Xiao personally welcomed Earl Dooku to the top seat, while he and Adele Ulan stood on a slightly lower stage. The next process involved the main races in the Dawn Territory coming to present gifts. First, the 4 core races, humans, Salarians, Protoss, and Visari, had their representatives come up one by one to present Tang Xiao with gifts representing the highest etiquette of their own races. The attitudes of the 4 core races were slightly different. The representatives of humans and Salarians expressed their loyalty to Tang Xiao wholeheartedly. The Visari people were willing to accept Tang Xiao as their leader, but were unwilling to place their race under his feet. Finally, the Protoss, represented by the leader of the Sirak tribe, Zakalis, had a very clear attitude towards Tang Xiao. They saw him as an ally. These different attitudes have their own reasons. Humans, as the race with the most extensive number of divisions in the Milky Way, also make up more than 90% of Tang Xiao's mothership. Although they cannot speak for all races in the Milky Way, the humans in the Dawn Territory are wholeheartedly loyal to Tang Xiao. Currently, the number of humans in the Dawn Territory has reached an astonishing 630 billion, most of whom are from the planet Lundali. This planet has significantly contributed to the human population in the Dawn Territory. The population of the Dawn Territory has surged to over 580 billion thanks to the addition of Lundali. This influx has not only multiplied the population several times over, but has also shifted the racial demographics, giving humans a significant majority once again. Meanwhile, the Salarians have flourished on the ocean planet, Cavebill, and have begun establishing colonies and cities on various planets within the Dawn Territory. Under the leadership of Professor Modine, the Salarians, who have lifted birth restrictions, have seen their populations skyrocket to nearly 200 million. They have developed deep connections with Li-Ming in all aspects of production and life, binding their fate to Tang Xiao's and ensuring their loyalty. Cavebill, their home planet, is a neighbor to Dawn Planet, solidifying the unbreakable relationship between the two. The Visari, despite their advanced civilization and numerous black technologies stored in their mothership database, are the youngest race in the Dawn Territory. With a current population of just over 1 million, their contribution to the construction of the Dawn territory has been limited, and their participation remains low. However, the Vasari rebel factions that were awakened are those willing to set aside their pride and engage in diplomacy and cooperation with other races. As a result, they have little resistance to collaborating with the Dawn territory and focusing on Tang Xiao. Lastly, the Protoss are a race whose arrogance is deeply ingrained in their bones and souls. They refuse to be subordinate to anyone, regardless of comparative strength. Even if only one Protoss remains, they will never bow their heads. You can call them obstinate or say they are out of touch with the times, but that is their nature. Additionally, the Protoss are highly sensitive to psionic energy and are very disgusted with Tang Xiao, who is deeply involved in the dark side of the Force and has even become the incarnation of death. Their willingness to join the Dawn territory as an alliance is already a significant concession. Otherwise, it wouldn't be surprising if a Protoss suddenly rushed up and attempted to strike Tang Xiao down with a sword. Easter Egg Chapter Attachment 1. Current Sphere of Influence in the Milky Way. Red, Sphere of Influence of the Dawn territory. Pink, Sphere of Activity of the Geth. Blue, Territory of the Galactic Republic. Yellow, Sphere of Influence of the Federation of Independent Galaxies. Green, Hut Space. Orange, General Area of Activities of Master Windu's Second Army. A large unmarked area in the west is an unknown star field. Additionally, the 3 red dots at the core of the Republic represent the planets Cato Nemoidia, Balmora Nemoidia, and Lundali, all loyal to Tang Xiao. The 2 yellow dots signify the planets Skako and Castel, which are loyal to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. The pincer-shaped protrusion on the east side of the Dawn territory is the Eneco Galaxy, where the current battle is taking place. The small area next to Hut Space includes the planet Christophsis and the nearby star area, also part of the Dawn territory. The northeast direction, originally controlled by the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, has been largely defeated in the recent counterattack by the Republic, making it now part of the Republic's territory. The truncated part of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies in the east is also a result of the Republic's counterattack. Chapter 1526, Grand Duke Liming. I must study politics and war so that my descendants may study music and philosophy. The Legend of the Stars of the Fourth Reich, Volgograd Kennedy Chapter, P1. This chapter provides a summary of the current situation of the Fourth Civilization through the enthronement ceremony. It focuses on the various races within the civilization. Among the core races, a notable mention is Bangira Ulan, who represented the human race. Although he had nominally handed over the Rendili Interstellar Power Company to his granddaughter, Adele Ulan, he remained the actual controller of this vast industrial group. Bangira Ulan was aware of his advancing age and the need to gradually relinquish power. He even secretly supported Adele's efforts to establish her own influence, recognizing that her approach aligned with his own interests. The inclusion of the Rendili Interstellar Power Company and the planet Rendili brought significant political and economic changes to the Dawn territory. The company became the largest industrial entity in the Dawn territory and the entire Confederation of Independent Galaxies. Additionally, the 600 billion inhabitants of Rendili had a profound impact. Before Rendili's integration, the total population of the Dawn territory was less than 100 billion, even after occupying the Havan and Sai-Suena star areas and establishing new colonies in the Kuna star cluster. The sudden increase in population by 600 billion was monumental. Half of Rendili's population was deeply influenced by the Rendili Interstellar Power Company and held loyalty to the Ulan family. This loyalty was a key reason Tang Xiao agreed to marry Adele Ulan. Without this union, the significant population disparity between the Dawn territory and Rendili could have led to conflicts and even war. Bangira Ulan's gift on behalf of the humans in the Dawn territory also solidified his status as the most powerful person under Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao, in turn, supported Adele Ulan's efforts to establish her own power. By leveraging his wife's influence, Tang Xiao aimed to divide the power of the Rendili faction and gradually assimilate Rendili's population through immigration policies. Over time, the population's loyalty to the Rendili Interstellar Power Company would diminish, reducing the company to an ordinary enterprise. After the core races presented their gifts, it was the turn of the subordinate races. While there was no official designation of subordinate races in the Dawn territory, these races did have a lower political status compared to the core races. Among the subordinate races, the Semiers and the Jivan were the most significant, being the first to join the Fourth Civilization. The Semiers had a large population and a strong industrial base, while the Jivan excelled in mathematics and scientific research. With Tang Xiao's support, the Jivan developed a robust industrial system, making them the most powerful race under the core races. Other notable races included the Grands from the planet Golden Rock, the Dags from the planet Marathol, and the Celestes from the planet Celeste. These races also possessed strong industrial capabilities. The Dawn territory is a vast and diverse region, home to numerous races and civilizations, each contributing uniquely to its development and strength. Among the most notable are Solo Sub Company, a large industrial group whose power and influence are significant. Their contributions to the industrial sector are invaluable. 2. Vathian, an insect race liberated by the Fourth Civilization during an early war with the Ailu. The Vathians are industrious and honest, excelling in large-scale industrial construction. Their physical attributes make them ideal for engineering tasks, and they have become highly valued workers in the Dawn territory. Planet Vathian has seen substantial benefits, including a doubled population and improved living conditions. 3. Kali, a small but active race known for their exceptional combat skills and unwavering loyalty to Tang Xiao. Despite their lack of an industrial system, their dedication makes them a crucial part of the Dawn territory's defense. 4. Injoli, renowned as the most powerful fighting race in the galaxy, the Injoli possess unparalleled physical strength and are immune to the Force. Their average height of 2.6 to 2.8 meters and dinosaur-like appearance make them formidable opponents. They are a key component of the Dawn army, though their low population of under 5 million limits their numbers. The Injoli have benefited greatly from their alliance with the Dawn territory, enjoying improved living conditions and ample combat opportunities. Their loyalty to Tang Xiao is based on mutual benefit rather than subservience. 5. Ewoks, the first race contacted by the Fourth Civilization. The Ewoks are bear-like and highly spiritual. They are talented engineers and adept at jungle warfare, forming a special jungle troop within the Dawn army. Initially, the Ewoks were dissatisfied with the Fourth Civilization for invading their territory and damaging their environment. However, as the Fourth Civilization expanded, these tensions eased. The Ewoks revere Tang Xiao as a godlike figure, making them one of the most loyal races to him personally. 6. Gnolls. Originally awakened as a servant race to the Solarians, many Gnolls now serve other races. They are naturally fierce, making them excellent fighter pilots and snipers. However, their low intelligence relegates them to roles as tools and cannon fodder. 7. Other races. The Tibulan, Saria, Ailu, and others are weaker races that primarily provide labor and colonies. Despite their limited contributions, they have potential for development and are gradually growing stronger as the Dawn territory advances. The Dawn territory encompasses over 1,700 galaxies with habitable planets and intelligent races. With hundreds of billions of stars, more than half of which have their own planetary systems, the region is vast. Many galaxies are uninhabitable, serving primarily as sources of minerals. Even among these, not all are rich in resources, but the sheer scale of the territory ensures a wealth of opportunities for growth and development. What they truly need are those rare minerals. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, many planetary systems don't even qualify for consideration. Among the tens of billions of planetary systems, there are over 1,700 galaxies inhabited by intelligent races. However, this proportion remains quite small. Moreover, many of these intelligent races are significantly underdeveloped and can hardly provide anything of value beyond their population. Their racial characteristics are often unremarkable, making them just another statistic. Special thanks to 213 Teenager for the 200 starting coins and for listening to the giant whale breathing. Also, gratitude to Taiwei Yutu for donating 100 starting coins. Chapter Fin 27, Grand Duke of Dawn, Territory Chapter 1. The Horn of War echoes in every corner of human history. History of the Fourth Reich, Chapter 3, Subparagraph 9. The Dawn territory encompasses over 1,700 galaxies, most of which remain undeveloped by their respective races. While this might seem insignificant on a galactic scale, the numerous battles between the Dawn territory and the Galactic Republic have demonstrated that even these seemingly backward galaxies can unleash terrifying power under the command of Tang Xiao. After the major races presented their gifts, a holographic star map of the entire Dawn territory's sphere of influence was projected in midair. Currently, the Dawn territory's main sphere of influence is divided into three large areas. The largest part is situated in the southwest corner of the outer ring of the Milky Way's plain star map, with the Endor galaxy, where Dawn Star is located, marking the westernmost edge of this area. Many refer to this region as the Direct Territory. The Direct Territory comprises three major star regions: the Model Star region, the Haven Star region, and the Siswena Star region. Author's note: some readers have pointed out that the Milky Way is three-dimensional. Of course, I know that, but how can I describe a three-dimensional sphere of influence in writing? Drawing a map of the sphere of influence is challenging enough. Should I build a model for you? Every time I mention direction, I add plain star map to clarify. The goal is to explain the plot clearly so you can understand the story. Let's not get bogged down in real versus unrealistic details. Li Ming's family leads the Model Star region. This region is relatively small. Before Tang Xiao and the Mothership landed in the Endor galaxy, the most prosperous place was the planet Anji on the eastern side of the star region, which belongs to the Ale people. The hyperspace channel of planet Anji directly connects to planet Saria, making it the most convenient external traffic route in the model sector. The area forming a triangular zone between planet Anji and planet Endor is the Kuna star cluster. This cluster contains 5 main planetary systems, rich in resources, and serves as the primary direction for pioneering in the Dawn territory. Currently, a large number of immigrants from the Rendili galaxy are settled in the Kuna star cluster for reclamation work. Volgograd Kennedy, the governor of the model sector, once appeared to be a mere drunkard. However, under pressure from the Ale people, he rediscovered his ambition. Under his leadership, the model star region has undergone extensive development and pioneering. Now, the population of the entire star region exceeds 30 billion, brimming with vitality. Because it was built from scratch, the Kuna star cluster's colonies utilized many new technologies and crafts, resulting in highly advanced cities. Besides the pioneering area of the Kuna star cluster and the regional comprehensive center of planet Anji, 3 other planets are crucial in the model star region. 1. Industrial planet Orville 3. Originally an industrial planet within the Ale people's sphere of influence, it was ceded to the Fourth Civilization. With significant investment, its old factories and machines have been updated. Now it serves as a vital light industry center in the Dawn territory, producing firearms, ammunition, combat uniforms, fighter seats, cooling units for Scorpion tanks, and other essential products. This precise positioning ensures that Orville 3 remains a cornerstone of the Liming Territory's industrial output. The planet cannot be compared to the real industrial worlds of those developed races. If it were truly comparable, the Ailu would not remain an obscure race. Instead of competing with large industrial worlds in terms of production capacity, they have wisely chosen to fill market gaps in light industry and processing. This decision by Volgograd Kennedy is indeed astute. Next, we have the prison planet Thornell, infamous throughout the entire Dawn territory. Its notoriety stems not only from the brutal combat operations carried out by the Beast Legion, composed of reform through labor and felony prisoners, but also from a popular saying, "If you don't obey, you'll be thrown to Thornell to catch fish." As part of its reform through labor activities, Thornell boasts impressive agricultural output, all thanks to the prisoners. What remains largely unknown is that Thornell also serves as a secret base for some of the Dawn leaders' scientific research, particularly involving human-related experiments. Companies like the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group and military-industrial groups such as Tyron Heavy Industries have conducted numerous tests on Thornell, losing many test subjects in the process while developing power armor like the CMC-300. Then there is the planet Vazian, the homeland of the industrious Vazian people. This insectoid race, resembling centaurs with chitinous carapaces, is known for their inability to remain idle. They possess a unique storage space within their intestines, allowing them to carry tools and other items. Their strength and resistance to extreme environments make them exceptional workers, though their habit of storing tools in their intestines and retrieving them during work might be unsettling to some. The Vazian people are also highly fertile. After joining the Dawn territory and improving their living conditions, their population surged from over 1 billion to more than 7 billion within a decade. Despite its low profile, planet Vazian is the second planet in the Dawn territory to begin constructing an industrial star ring, following planet Dawn. Moreover, the Vazian people have been undertaking significant projects near the star Vasha, located at the center of their planetary system. They have built a scientific research space station near Vasha, assembling their best astrophysicists and engineers. Even the Solarians have sent a research team to assist the Vazians. The exact nature of their work remains a mystery, as access to the Vazian star field is highly restricted. As the Vazian population continues to grow, they are becoming increasingly active in the major industrial bases of the Dawn territory. Vazians can be seen everywhere, laden with goods, and skillfully operating various machinery to contribute to industrial construction. These efforts are significant contributions to the development of the model star area. Chapter 1528, Grand Duke of Dawn, 5, Terry Chapter 2. In the territory directly under the Dawn territory, the second most important star area is the Haven star area. The governor of the Haven star area is Graham, who was initially appointed by Tang Xiao when he first established his colony on planet Dawn. Graham started as the head of a small village and worked diligently, growing alongside the colony. As Tang Xiao had casually encouraged, Graham rose from village chief to mayor, from mayor to governor, then to planetary leader, and finally became the star governor. The Haven star area was originally under the jurisdiction of the 19th Army of the Galactic Republic. According to the Republic's Star Area Division, it contained more than 10 star areas. However, in the Dawn territory, these star areas were merged into one, named after the capital planet, Haven. The 19th Army of the former Galactic Republic was a legion with little prominence, and there were not many distinctive planets in its jurisdiction. Now, it mainly serves as the gateway to the Dawn Star and the Model Star District. Under Graham's leadership, the primary role of the Haven Star area is logistics and supply, providing various resources for the planets on the front line. Compared to the war-torn Sethwena Star Sector and the developing Model Star Sector, the Haven Star Sector is the most livable area in the entire Dawn territory. Immigrants from the planet Rendili mainly chose the Haven Star region as their destination. This area is gradually becoming the most prosperous in the Dawn territory. In the foreseeable future, its economic, cultural, social, and artistic development will be very rapid. The largest and most prosperous planet in the Haven Star area is naturally the Haven planet. This used to be the capital of the 19th Army of the Republic and is now the capital of the entire star region. With the continuous influx of immigrants from the planet Rendili, the current population of Haven has reached 50 billion. The second largest planet in the Haven Star area is Glenson, with a current population of more than 10 billion. This is where the fleet of the Fourth Civilization assembled when it confronted the 18th Army of the Republic. Currently, Glenson remains the main fleet station of the Haven sector and the location of the Naval Command. However, the most important planet in the Haven sector is Yago-Dur. This is the northernmost planet in the Haven Star area, located in the inner ring of the Milky Way, and it is the homeland of the G-Wen people. The Yago-Dur galaxy is a three-body galaxy, making its environment very complex, but it also miraculously gave birth to the G-Wen people. The mathematical calculation ability of the G-Wen people is unparalleled in the entire galaxy. The zero-mode probability they created can even be used to deduce the operation of the universe and predict the development of the material world, making their technological development very advanced. The connection between Tang Xiao and the Ji-Wen people stems from his master, Darth Plagueis. After Tang Xiao dedicated the blueprint of the Ragnarok-class Titan battleship to Darth Plagueis, the ecstatic Sith Lord entrusted the task of developing and manufacturing the Titan battleship to the Ji-Wen people. This decision was made because of the Ji-Wen people's excellent scientific research capabilities and their low-key nature. Additionally, the three-body environment of the Yagodur galaxy provides the perfect cover to hide the Titan dock. Based on the calculation of zero-mode probability, the Ji-Wen people also predicted the fall of the Galactic Republic, leading them to naturally distance themselves from it. After aligning with the Republic, Tang Xiao naturally hit it off with Darth Plagueis. Upon inheriting Darth Plagueis's property and will, the Ji-Wen people also joined the Fourth Civilization. They successively built the Ragnarok-class Titan battleship Plague and the Ankron N-class Titan battleship Xuanwu for Tang Xiao. However, the Galactic Republic became awe of the production of these two Titan battleships. Consequently, the Republic's 20th Army has been eyeing the planet Yagodur, launching several offensives. These attempts failed due to their inability to adapt to the Trisolaran galaxy's environment. Despite these failures, the 20th Army remains vigilant, amassing heavy troops and potentially preparing for another offensive against the Yagodur galaxy. It is widely believed that the next wave of the Republic's offensive will be determined and relentless. Due to this looming threat, Matt Horner, the commander-in-chief of the Dawn Territory, remains stationed there, ready to direct operations personally. Additionally, the Haven Star area includes the planet Bespin, a crucial resource source for the entire Dawn Territory. This gas giant is one of the largest producers of explosive gas in the Milky Way, ensuring a stable supply of ammunition for the Dawn Territory. The planet Terminus, although a remote transportation hub on the galaxy's outer ring, has lost its strategic value as the front advances. However, it has become a new base for smugglers in the galactic underworld. The Hutts have already established a presence on Terminus, facilitating many spice and smuggling operations in secret. Other important planets in the Haven Star area include the Golden Rock planet, home to the Grand People, and the Syria planet, home to the Syria people. Notably, Planet Carl, originally a tourist attraction, was used as a defensive line by the 19th Army during the Fourth Civilization's attack. Although the environment suffered significant damage, it remains a pleasant place overall. After Tang Xiao awakened the Vasari people, he assigned Planet Carl to them as their home. The Vasari, unhesitant, quickly established themselves on Planet Carl. However, conflicts have arisen with the planet's native human population. The natives, already dissatisfied with the 19th Army's military constructions, are now outraged that their homeland has been handed over to an unknown race. This tension has led to increasing conflicts between the natives and the Vasari, potentially becoming a pressing issue in the future. The Vasari population is currently small, around 1 million people. However, their extensive use of robot labor has enabled rapid infrastructure development, quickly restoring their former strength as galactic overlords. To them, the natives of Planet Carl are insignificant. This is the home Tang Xiao assigned to them, and they will defend it fiercely. Tang Xiao has tacitly approved this stance. Note, I forgot to mention the Ewoks and Gnolls in the previous chapter on races. I will add them to the previous chapters later. There are many races, so I will be very cautious when introducing new ones. Thank you to Shuxing Hengxiao for the 200 starting coins, and thank you to Jufeng Laozhang for the 100 starting coins. Chapter 1529, Grand Duke of Dawn 6. Tang Xiao didn't intend to foster genuine camaraderie among the diverse races and planets within his Dawn territory. In reality, it was an impossible task. With so many races and planets, the interests involved were as intricate as a spider's web. This complexity was evident even in the relatively small Dawn territory, a mere corner of the Milky Way. If the Galactic Republic, which occupied most of the Milky Way, were considered, the entangled interests would be even more convoluted, rendering the Galactic Republic unmanageable. The conflicts between the Vasari people and the natives of planet Karl were just the tip of the iceberg. Numerous other contradictions existed within the Dawn territory. However, these conflicts were invariably suppressed by the Dawn territory, with the sole criterion for resolution being which side was more beneficial to the Dawn territory. It was almost certain that the Vasari would expel or even enslave the aborigines of planet Karl, a result that Tang Xiao was quite pleased to see. Given the Vasari's development, it was foreseeable that planet Karl, initially a tourist destination, would gradually transform into an industrial planet. For a tourist planet, a few atmospheric modifications, environmental adjustments, and landform alterations, followed by some hype, would suffice to restore its appeal. Among the territories directly under the Dawn territory, the third largest star area was the Siswena star area. This star area was named after the Sisvena star area, where the capital, planet Eliadu, was located. Similar to the Haven star area, the Dawn territory had integrated the jurisdiction of the former Galactic Republic's 18th Army to form a large-scale star sector. The 18th Army of the Republic had been very prosperous. After capturing the Eliadu galaxy, the Dawn territory lacked the capability to continue their offensive, so they only occupied 2/3 of the original 18th Army's jurisdiction. The Star District Governor, Ling Liang, set a record for the speed of promotion within the Dawn territory. In just a few months, she rose from Army Lieutenant General to Army General and Star District Governor, thanks to her outstanding performance in the Battle of Planet Eliadu. It was her strategic use of stellar flares to isolate Eliadu and her subsequent fight to the death that allowed the Fourth Civilization to challenge the planet's defenses. The Siswena star area, particularly the Eliadu galaxy, was the strategic core of the entire Dawn territory. Its strategic value even surpassed that of Dawn planet itself. The Eliadu galaxy, located at the transportation hub of the Milky Way's middle ring, provided significant strategic advantages. For instance, the ongoing battle in the Enako galaxy might not have been successful against the superior fleet of the Republic's 17th Army without the strategic maneuverability offered by the Eliadu galaxy. Possessing the Eliadu galaxy gave the Dawn territory a chance to vie for control of the Milky Way. Losing it, however, would reduce them to a minor warlord in a peaceful corner, vulnerable to eventual domination by the Galactic Republic or the Galactic Empire. To secure the Eliadu galaxy, the Dawn territory deployed its most powerful warship, the Ankron-class Titan battleship Xuanwu, along with all the latest equipment and warships. Over more than half a year of restoration and construction, planet Eliadu's population had recovered to about 25 billion. The planetary shield and orbital defense system had also been improved, with 2 Argonev-class interstellar bases completed to guard the north and south. The construction of the 3rd and 4th interstellar bases, which protect the equator, is currently underway. Presently, the Dawn territory utilizes the Argonev-class interstellar base as a large-scale armed space station. However, the design potential of this interstellar base is immense. With sufficient resources and time, it can be expanded to the size of a satellite, reaching a diameter of hundreds of kilometers. At such a scale, the construction of interstellar bases must be carefully planned, considering the gravitational influence on the planet. The defense system of the Eliadu galaxy is already at its highest level. The design of this system ensures it can withstand a full-scale attack from the Galactic Republic for up to 6 months. Besides this fortress planet, the Sisvena sector contains many planets of high strategic value, including several industrial worlds. This makes the Sisvena sector the industrial hub of the Dawn territory. One such planet is Sullust, the home of the Sullust people and the headquarters of Solosub, one of the top 20 industrial enterprises in the galaxy. The industrial capacity of Sullust is immense, ranking it among the top 5 in the Dawn territory. Before the Fourth Civilization opened the channel to the planet Terminus, Sullust and its neighboring planets resisted the Republic's 18th Army for a year, showcasing their formidable strength. Another significant planet is Sluis Van, renowned for its advanced shipbuilding industry. Before the war, it produced LH-3210 cargo ships and Munificent-class star frigates for the Trade Federation. During the war, Sulus Van and Sullust coordinated their efforts, delivering severe blows to the Republic's 18th Army. Wilhuff Tarkin, however, demonstrated his exceptional military command skills, gradually turning the tide until the Fourth Civilization intervened. Consequently, after the Battle of the Eriadu Galaxy, Sulus Van naturally became part of the Dawn territory. Currently, the planet manufactures Hell's Angels and disaster-class battlecruisers for the Solarians. Woostry is another notable planet, though not very suitable for habitation, with only a small population of Woostry people. Its true value lies in the Woostry Holoscan database, the second-largest database array in the galaxy. This zigzag structure, thousands of kilometers long and hundreds of layers high, is an engineering marvel. The data stored here is second only to the super database array beneath Coruscant. Despite the gap between the first and second, the Woostry Holoscan database contains a vast array of knowledge from across the galaxy. Before the war, it was a sanctuary for scholars from all over the galaxy. Chapter 1530, Grand Duke of Dawn, 7, Territory Chapter 4. The planet Woosterly can be considered a scientific research haven for civilians. Many civilian scientists, lacking power and status, are unable to access the high-ranking Coruscant Super Database Array. As a result, they desperately strive to gain entry to Woosterly, with each visit to the planet being a significant honor, especially when they can holographically scan the database array. After the outbreak of the war, the Confederation of Independent Galaxies managed to keep pace with the Galactic Republic in some key technologies, largely thanks to the Super Database Array on Woosterly. Following the Battle of the Eliadu Galaxy, the Woosterites, who highly valued order, eagerly aligned themselves with the Dawn territory. Compared to the loose structure of the Galactic Republic and the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, the people of Woosterly yearned for the strict order of the Dawn territory. However, due to the planet's extensive influence in the academic world of the Milky Way, the Dawn territories dared not fully claim Woosterly as their own. Instead, they allowed the planet to remain open, permitting anyone to visit as long as they met the conditions set by the Woosterites. This included scientists from the Galactic Republic. Of course, any Republic scientists daring enough to visit Woosterly at this time would face uncertain fates upon leaving the planet. Regardless, the classification of Woosterly within the Dawn territory's sphere of influence provided immense support to scientists in their research and development efforts. Although the database array could not directly assist in scientific research, it contained answers to countless questions. The most significant challenge in the Glory Mothership's database was how to adapt technologies from other universes to the Star Wars universe. The database array of Woosterly would undoubtedly facilitate this localization process, accelerating technological research and development in the Dawn territory for the foreseeable future. Next is the planet Vanderheim. Originally under the jurisdiction of the 18th Army, it was taken over by the 17th Army after the 18th Army's destruction. In the recent Battle of Enako, Vanderheim was traded to the Trade Federation as a bargaining chip. Lot Dude, the parliamentary representative of the trade union, eagerly accepted the offer. Although competition would be necessary to fully control this mineral-rich planet with a robust industrial system, successfully occupying Vanderheim would significantly aid in protecting Woosterly's super database array. Vanderheim would serve as a barrier for Woosterly. Then there is the planet Marathol, the homeland of the Dag people. Thousands of years ago, the Grands invaded, and the two races later jointly occupied the planet. After voting to join the Dawn territory, Tang Xiao ordered the two races to sign a peace treaty to serve the Dawn territory together. Marathol boasts a highly developed industry, particularly in engine manufacturing. Before the war, the racing engines for the famous Bangta Night Pod racing competition in the Milky Way were supplied by Marathol. Additionally, the planet produced a high-performance gas fuel that could be refined and used as a spaceship's sublight-speed engine fuel. Moreover, Marathol was the home of the esteemed granite statesman Anil Tim. Anil Tim has, in both the Galactic Republic and the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, he held a very high prestige. His reputation once overshadowed that of Schiff Palpatine, leading to his election as the Speaker of the Republic, replacing Finis Valorum. With such influential figures, the political status of planet Marathol rose significantly, much like that of planet Naboo. Then, there is the planet Harunkar. This remote planet, far from the hyperspace channels, is the hometown of Master Windu. The Kurunai people who inhabit it are a race shrouded in mystery. Harunkar is known for producing a precious spice called Diesel Bar K. This spice, which has no side effects, is highly sought after by the nobles in the inner circle of the galaxy. After Dawn occupied Harunkar, they eradicated the alien Balawai population, destroyed the city of Pelik Bao, and returned the planet to the native Kurunai. In return, the Kurunai were required to graze their livestock in a controlled manner and cultivate diesel bark for the Dawn territory. Additionally, they were not to prohibit their people from joining the Dawn territory's army or engaging in other work. Essentially, this was a protection fee. Consequently, diesel bark was controlled by the Dawn territory and sold across the galaxy through the underground smuggling market on the planet Terminus, generating enormous profits. Overall, the strength of the Siswena star area is evident. With numerous industrial planets and super database arrays, the Siswena star area is poised to become the largest industrial center in the Dawn territory. Countless battleships and advanced technologies will be produced here, fueling the war for galactic dominance. In addition to its direct territory, the Dawn territory also controls a large area in the northern part of the galaxy. This area was once under the control of the Interstellar Banking Association. Following the split and reorganization of the interstellar banking industry, the Moon people have strengthened their ties with Tang Xiao after separating from the human faction of the association. Furthermore, San Silna, the co-chairman of the Interstellar Banking Association, has maintained a close cooperative relationship with Tang Xiao since the era of Darth Plagueis. Thus, it is not an exaggeration to say that the Interstellar Banking Association is now part of the Dawn territory. Officially, however, the Interstellar Banking Association remains a part of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, with their relationship with the Dawn territory being notably favorable. In the northern region, the most important planets are Mulinster and Makito. Mulinster is the main planet of the Moon people. Although the Moon people originated from the planet Scipio, they have since abandoned it. With the split of the Interstellar Banking Association, the Moon people now recognize Mulinster as their sole homeland. Numerous banks and financial institutions have been established on Mulinster, making it the financial heart of the entire galaxy. Despite the split, Mulinster remains the financial core of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies. It is their support that has enabled both Count Dooku and Tang Xiao to sustain this costly war. Chapter 1531, Grand Duke of Dawn, 8. On the planet Mulinster, there is a place of great significance to Darth Malthael, Abola Island. This island was once the dark altar of Darth Plagueis, serving as the secret base where he stored all his life's knowledge. After Plagueis' death, Darth Malthael inherited this repository and continued his research, further advancing the dark knowledge Plagueis had accumulated. For Darth Malthael, losing other places might be acceptable, but the planet Mulinster is absolutely indispensable. Meanwhile, the planet Megiddo has truly become the financial center of the entire Federation of Independent Galaxies, including the Dawn territory. After transferring a substantial amount of deposits from the planet Scipio, the Interstellar Banking Association, headquartered on Megiddo after the split, quickly began to restore its position in the financial market, focusing on the middle and outer ring star regions. Although Megiddo does not appear in the public eye as frequently as Mulinster, it is often mentioned as the financial hub of the Milky Way. Anyone familiar with the financial industry knows that Megiddo is the manipulator behind the galactic financial market, as all decisions of the Interstellar Banking Association, originate from there. The Interstellar Banking Association, has maintained its previous administrative system of a 5-member core plus a co-chairman. The 5-member core manages the enormous super treasury on Megiddo, while the co-chairman oversees the management and operation of the entire association. Consequently, if we consider which planet has the highest security level in the entire Dawn territory, Megiddo would surpass even Eliadu, especially when factoring in the presence of a garrison fleet. Moreover, Megiddo is also the headquarters of the Fourth Group. This decision was initially made by Tang Xiao to gain the trust of Darth Plagueis when he became his disciple. SK Holdings Group also placed the Fourth Group on Megiddo. As the Fourth Group continued to develop, they discovered numerous benefits to having their headquarters on Megiddo. In the early stages of their development, many believed the Fourth Group was supported by the Interstellar Banking Association, which allowed them to avoid being associated with Dawn Planet, which had already started causing significant disruptions in the Galactic Republic. This separation was crucial as it provided the Fourth Group with a stable development space. Before the war broke out, even within the Galactic Republic, few dared to provoke the Interstellar Banking Association. At that time, apart from the judicial fleet of the Galactic Republic, only the Interstellar Banking Association could launch a large main battleship of more than 800 meters in the entire galaxy. As the Fourth Group grew stronger, their relationship with the Interstellar Banking Association evolved into a mutually beneficial one. One side had the money, while the other had technology and industry, creating a perfect match. Of course, the premise for maintaining this relationship was that the Interstellar Banking Association did not intend to annex the Fourth Group during its development. They refrained from doing so when Darth Plagueis was around, and they continued to refrain under Darth Malthael's influence. In addition to these two financial core planets, within the jurisdiction of the Northern Territory of the Dawn Territory, there is another significant planet. The most terrifying planet in the entire galaxy is the Sojourn satellite. Once the private palace of Darth Plagueis, it was known as the Hunter's Moon, where he entertained the galaxy's top celebrities and nobles annually. However, Darth Sidious conspired with Gardula the Hutt, Als Varuna, the king of Naboo, and Alexei Garin, the leader of the Black Sun, to assassinate Darth Plagueis. During their operation, the Sojourn satellite was obliterated by a supernuclear bomb, transforming the Hunter's Moon into a hellish, abandoned wasteland. After Tang Xiao built the Geth, he handed over the Sojourn satellite to them, allowing them to develop and proliferate. Sojourn is a secret planet, erased from the Jedi Order's star maps, so the Geth's growth here has gone unnoticed. Now, the Geth have ravaged the entire northern border of the Galactic Republic, but their origin remains unknown to all but one person, Jedi Master Sas Tin, who was killed on the planet Kali. The Sojourn satellite is now covered with Geth factories. The plate and crustal movements, activated by the supernuclear bomb, provide energy for the Geth. Unaffected by nuclear radiation and harsh conditions, they have turned the place into a super factory of steel and flames. Every minute, numerous Geth individuals roll off the production line and join the war. In the north, two important races are the Kali and the Injoli. The Kali, from the planet Kali, were originally a civilization in the Cold Weapon era and suffered greatly in a previous war with the Yamrui. After seeking refuge with Tang Xiao, planet Kali received significant investment, drastically improving its living conditions. However, due to natural limitations, the planet's development potential remains restricted. The Kali primarily provide high-quality soldiers and officers for the Dawn Territory. They are natural guerrilla warfare geniuses with an exceptional understanding of strategy and tactics, making them valuable officers at all levels in the Dawn Army. Similarly, the Injoli, controlled by special cigars, have joined the Dawn Territory. Their living conditions have improved, and their population has grown to about 3 to 5 million. Despite their cruel and barbaric nature, the Injoli planet is located in the inner ring of the Milky Way. However, the absence of a major hyperspace navigation channel nearby makes it relatively remote. Near the Injoli planet is the Golden Gneiss Shipyard, a large-scale shipyard acquired by Tang Xiao's Fourth Civilization during the Injoli riots. This shipyard was crucial in the early days of the Fourth Civilization, producing most of its initial warships. Currently, the Golden Gneiss Shipyard has fallen behind in terms of scale and craftsmanship. It still produces Cole-class battle cruisers for the Dawn Territory and can build 30 ships simultaneously. However, as Cole-class battle cruisers are phased out of the Dawn's frontline navy, the shipyard struggles to keep up with modern demands. The plan is to gradually transform it into a shipyard for civilian spaceships and to dismantle battle-damaged and obsolete warships. In the northern jurisdiction of the Dawn territory, larger industrial planets like Jameis and Yaga Minor now play a more significant role. Both regions boast larger factories and shipyards capable of handling extensive warship manufacturing. The northern territory of the Dawn territory is particularly notable, as it is home to the largest shipyard of the Confederation of Independent Systems in the Northern Territory star region, Bastion, also known as the Fortress Planet. The Interstellar Banking Association, with its vast financial resources, frequently commissions warships from the shipyard on Bastion Planet. Additionally, there is the former capital of the Eighth Army of the Republic, the planet Ord Mantle. Known for its intertwining of gambling and finance, Ord Mantle has the largest underground gang finance and gambling center. After being occupied by the Fourth Civilization, the planet has gained notoriety as a money laundering and underground gambling hub. The Galactic Republic never fully controlled Ord Mantle. Even the Eighth Army's capital was merely a large space station and dock on the planet's periphery. With the Eighth Army's destruction, these facilities were also obliterated, stripping the planet of its military base status. Under the rule of the Dawn Lord, Ord Mantle has become infamous for its illicit activities. Here, anything is possible if you have the money. Overall, the Northern Territory of Limingling is an area dominated by the Interstellar Banking Association and the Fourth Group, Moir, with a strong focus on finance and industry. However, the primary issue in this star area remains the Geth. The Geth ravage the northern borders of the Galactic Republic while maintaining a complex symbiotic relationship with the home planet of the Dawnland. Although the Geth have not infiltrated some key core planets, they are heavily involved in peripheral areas like the planet Kali. The presence of the deadly mechanical life forms of the Geth, combined with the galaxy's largest financial center, ensures that the northern jurisdiction of the Dawn territory is fraught with tension and undercurrents. The third region under the jurisdiction of the Dawn territory is located in the southeast of the Milky Way's plain star map. This area is relatively straightforward, primarily centered around the planet Christophsis and the planets occupied during expansion operations based on Christophsis during the war. Christophsis is a crystal planet with a population of about 35 billion, and its economy thrives on the crystals produced there, making it quite wealthy. More importantly, Christophsis also produces kyber crystals, which are deeply connected to the Force and are the main material for lightsabers. With the development of related technologies by the Dawn territory, kyber crystals have become strategic resources. The most powerful technological product of the Dawn territory, the particle light spear, was inspired by the kyber crystal. Originally, the vicinity of Christophsis was under the control of the Enterprise Alliance. Although the Enterprise Alliance did not formally ally with Tang Xiao, they were wary of him and thus followed his guidance. While Christophsis is nominally under the Enterprise Alliance's control, in reality, official appointments, resource output, and tax utilization are all managed by the Dawn leaders. The Galactic Republic has considered reoccupying Christophsis, but the planet's proximity to Hutt space complicates matters. The ongoing civil war among the Hutt families has made the Hutt space unpredictable, with the potential for unexpected events, such as the sudden emergence of a separatist fleet. Consequently, the Galactic Republic is reluctant to provoke Christophsis. The Enterprise Alliance has gathered a significant number of men, and although it has fallen behind, the number of defense fleets remains considerable before the battle situation becomes clear. In addition to these three areas, there are 3 special planets in the Dawn territory. These planets are unique because they are located in the core circle of the Milky Way, within the home of the Galactic Republic, Cato Neimoidia, Balmora Neimoidia, and Rendili. These planets are constantly surrounded by a fleet of the Galactic Republic to prevent any aggressive moves. Cato Neimoidia is the wealth world of the trade union, where numerous priceless treasures and properties are preserved. Many nobles in the inner circle of the galaxy also store their wealth here. Previously, Severance Tan led the Titan battleship Plague to Cato Neimoidia, repeatedly damaging the Galactic Republic's fleet. However, With the withdrawal and eventual destruction of the plague by the Republic, Cato Neimoidia is once again under siege. The Galactic Republic has not attacked directly due to the planet's perfect and powerful orbital defenses and pressure from the wealthy nobles in the inner circle. In the original Star Wars plot, the Galactic Republic took the initiative to attack Cato Neimoidia. However, in this scenario, the military pressure from the Confederacy of Independent Systems and Dawn is much greater, resulting in significant losses for the Republic. Consequently, they are hesitant to invest a large fleet to attack here. Balmora Neimoidia is the home planet of the Neimoidians and the headquarters of the Trade Federation, making it extremely important. The Galactic Republic's siege and failure to attack here is due to the difficulty of overcoming its defenses. Even if they could, the Republic is unwilling to pay the high price required. Finally, there is the planet Rendeli, the second heart that the Dawn leader recently acquired. Thank you to Two-Third Teenager for the 400 starting coins. Chapter 1532, Grand Duke of Dawn. Any captain, when his battleship and the enemy ship are in close proximity, will not make too many mistakes. The Legend of the Stars of the Fourth Reich, Severance Tan Chapter, p. 185. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the planet Lundili stands out, ranking among the top 3 in terms of scale. To put it bluntly, Lundili is second only to Coruscant. During its heyday, the planet boasted a staggering population of 600 billion. This incredible number meant that the surface alone couldn't accommodate such a vast populace. Consequently, like Coruscant, Lundili developed a layered structure, with more than 3,000 levels excavated beneath its crust. However, unlike the comprehensive nature of Coruscant, Lundili's industries remained predominantly industrial. The planet's more than 3,600 interstellar docks were supported by countless processing plants, logistics companies, labor service firms, scientific research departments, and management sectors. The reason behind Lundili's massive population lies in its industrial model, which is a combination of small workshops. Numerous shipbuilding companies came together to form the Lundili Interstellar Power Company, each maintaining its own systems and personnel. Over time, as the population grew, the planet was continuously excavated and expanded, evolving into a behemoth with 600 billion inhabitants. In stark contrast, their main competitor, the Kuat Power Shipyard, followed a completely different path. The entire Kuat Power Shipyard housed only 3.5 billion people and operated as a single group company. Corporate management and the formation of an industrial chain with other planets in the Milky Way sufficed to meet their requirements. Thus, the inability of Lundili Interstellar Power Company to compete with Kuat Power Dockyard wasn't solely due to political factors. Now, the Rendili Interstellar Power Company has joined the Confederation of Independent Galaxies. They serve Tang Xiao as the main force, but like the Interstellar Banking Association, their allegiance is another matter on the surface. The planet Lundili's half-coerced, half-forced joining was inevitable, given the 25,000-year history of the Rendili Interstellar Power Company. The planet's addition to the Dawn territory brought not only a massive interstellar dock, but also a substantial population base. However, defending the planet Lundili posed a significant challenge. Unlike Cato Neimoidia and Balmora Neimoidia, the pressure on Rendili wasn't military. The Supreme Strategic Command of the Galactic Republic would be insane to attack a super-industrial planet with over 3,600 interstellar shipyards, a complete industrial system, and a population of 600 billion. The real danger for Lundili was its population. Feeding 600 billion people under the Galactic Republic's blockade was simply impossible. To mitigate this, several secret waterways provided continuous supplies, and the Outer Rim Planet Mutual Aid Fund, led by Claire Underwood, the wife of Dawn leader Francis Underwood, played a crucial role. In the name of humanitarian aid, the Mutual Aid Foundation continuously transported food and supplies to Rendeli and facilitated the emigration of a large number of inhabitants. However, this led to another issue. The more than 3,600 space docks on Lundili lacked sufficient raw materials to commence construction, as all available channels were used to transport food and supplies. For the Dawn territory, this was a significant challenge to address. It is now crucial to seize this last bit of time. After all, the Galactic Republic still needs to maintain some semblance of propriety. If hundreds of billions of people on Lundili were to starve to death, it would have very serious political consequences. However, once the Galactic Empire is established, Shiv Palpatine will no longer care about such matters. He is likely to impose the most thorough blockade on the planet, Lundili. Currently, Lundili is a massive treasure trove. The Wen territory must resist the Galactic Republic's attempts to seize this treasure while continuing to exploit it for its own benefit. Tens of billions of people have moved out of Lundili in recent months, a significant migration. But even so, this is far from enough. According to the report submitted by the Ministry of the Interior to Tang Xiao, the population of Lundili must be reduced to at least 150 billion to achieve a healthy state. At this moment, Tang Xiao's inauguration ceremony as Grand Duke of Liming is still ongoing. Next, there are gifts from major companies and consortiums under Liming's leadership. Unlike the various races, these companies do not present gifts as a show of loyalty. Instead, they offer some tokens and blessings without any formal process of allegiance. This is not because these companies are rebellious or unreasonable, but because in the current market environment of the Milky Way, those qualified to stand on the stage and present gifts to Duke Liming are all giants without exception. These companies span hundreds or even thousands of galaxies. From their standpoint, the commercial market is more significant than politics. They cannot afford to label themselves too obviously. After all, Liming's territory is too small to support the market they need. Ultimately, their business still relies on the Confederation of Independent Galaxies and even the Galactic Republic. This includes companies and groups founded by Liming himself. Although these are essentially state-owned enterprises within the Dawn territory, they also need to expand. Only by continuing to expand can they meet the requirements of the Dawn territory. If they want to grow beyond the Dawn territory, they cannot be seen as companies that only serve the Dawn territory. Liming has its own management methods for these state-owned companies and groups. First, these companies have obtained scientific and technological data from the Mothership. The products they sell externally are strictly scrutinized by the administrative agency of the Dawn territory to prevent leaks. If they want to expand their market without being censored, they must develop their own products, not even derivative products of Mothership technology. In the long run, such a strict review system may somewhat hinder the development of these companies. However, the first priority for Liming is to ensure that its technology is not leaked and then consider the development of these companies. There are quite a few super intergalactic groups active in the Dawn territory, and cooperation with them is also profitable. Chapter 1533, Grand Duke Liming, Company Chapter 1. If you don't drive them to hell, it's hell's turn to devour us. Di Wang Lu, Chapter 14 of Dormancy. Among the state-owned companies in Limingling, the largest is naturally the Fourth Group. When the Fourth Group was founded, its primary purpose was to build and sell technological products from the Mothership database. At the beginning of its establishment, even the Fourth Civilization was just a small colony, so the Fourth Group undertook all the foreign commercial activities of the Fourth Civilization. At that time, all scientific research was carried out by the Scientific Research Department under Tang Xiao's direct control. Now, after more than 10 years of development, the Fourth Group has evolved significantly and has begun to develop in a more commercial direction. However, it remains the core part of Limingling's business system. The Fourth Group now directly manages fewer industries, with many having been distributed. The remaining industries include the Golden Nice shipyard, which is already falling behind, and enterprises built and acquired in cooperation with the Interstellar Banking Association in the Northern Star region. The Fourth Group also has its own product line, primarily based on the technical data of the Traders Emergency Alliance from Original Sin of a Solar Empire, including Cole-class battlecruisers, Dunov-class battlecruisers, Sova-class aircraft carriers, and other products. Beyond industry, the Fourth Group's investments in the northern border also extend to other sectors such as education, medical tourism, and more. However, These are just the surface-level activities. The industries owned by the Fourth Group are, in fact, quite formidable. Firstly, the Fourth Group holds shares in several limmingling state-owned companies, including Tyron Heavy Industry, United Mining Group, Higra Aerospace Group, and Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group. Although most of these shares have been diluted to about 10 to 20%, the Fourth Group remains one of the largest shareholders. Additionally, all cutting-edge and confidential projects of limmingling are carried out by the Fourth Group. Only after these projects have completed preliminary research and testing are they handed over to other state-owned companies for production. A prime example is the particle light spear technology, developed through Limmingling's direct financial investment, organized by its scientific research department and in cooperation with the Fourth Group. This project alone involves tens of billions of credits, all managed by the Fourth Group. The chairman of the Fourth Group, Gross Shelbia, a young business prodigy, has lived up to Tang Xiao's expectations and led the Fourth Group to continuous progress. She has always maintained an ambiguous relationship with Tang Xiao, which ensures the Fourth Group's absolute loyalty to him. In addition to the Fourth Group, the number of state-owned companies in Limming has increased to 9. Tyron Heavy Industry, United Mining Group, Higra Aerospace Group, Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group, Shenbao Standard Light Industry, Halo Weapons System Company, Jushin Security, Solari Industrial Group, and Damask Holding Group. These state-owned companies have all obtained Mothership technology and developed based on it. Tyron Heavy Industries, for instance, has acquired the scientific and technological data of the Terran from Starcraft. Its current product line is very rich, including Behemoth-class battlecruisers, Wraith fighters, Viking fighters, Valkyrie frigates, Banshee fighters, Hercules transport aircraft, and Apod 33 transport aircraft. On the ground, they produce siege tanks, vulture chariots, wolf mechas, giant mechas, SCVs, and other products. Thor mechs and CMC-300 power armor are about to enter production. After years of development, Tyron Heavy Industries has become one of the largest state-owned companies in Limming territory. During the war, Tyron Heavy Industries products were ubiquitous. The company's chief engineer, Laurie Swan, is a pragmatic leader who has ensured that their product line is robust, stable, and powerful. Another key figure is Zhang Jiarui, an expert in energy science, who is also one of the most important engineers at Tyron Heavy Industries. While they do not manage the company's operations, their expertise makes them invaluable assets. United Mining Group is the primary supplier of raw materials in Liming territory. Their mining and transport ships traverse half the galaxy, providing a continuous supply of materials to numerous factories and industrial planets. They even possess 3 fin whale-class industrial flagships, each 2,449 meters long, capable of supporting the mining of an entire star field. In addition to mining, United Mining Group boasts an advanced smelting system, refining precious materials from various galaxies into high-quality alloys such as tri-titanium alloys, metal fullerene alloys, and nanowire composite fibers. Thanks to the technologies and formulas in their Mothership database, United Mining Group has developed a unique system independent of the Galactic Republic. Consequently, they are the only state-owned company that does not engage in foreign trade. Xu Yan, the current chairman, is a mature and stable middle-aged man known for his down-to-earth and loyal nature. Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group began with the biological and medical technology from Resident Evil, including the notorious T-virus, which caused significant damage to the Galactic Republic during the war. Over time, they have acquired additional technologies from Halo and Eve, diversifying their product range. As a cutting-edge pharmaceutical group, they have integrated and advanced the current medical technology of the galaxy, producing a wide array of pharmaceutical products. They have also made significant strides in biological weapons, such as the Injoli Avengers, a combination of the T-virus and Injoli, capable of devastating entire cities. Recently, Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group obtained the Dryer virus, a product of Sith alchemy from Darth Masail, and has begun research involving the Force. Additionally, they are collaborating with Halo Weapon Systems on the mysterious Spartan project. Chapter 1534, Grand Duke Limingth, Company Articles, Army Articles. First, let me clarify something. I didn't expect anyone to accuse me of dragging out the story recently. To be honest, I hadn't planned to introduce the forces of the Fourth Civilization so soon. You need to consider the current development of these forces. Now that I've written it, some of you still say I'm padding the story. Do you think these introductions can be finished in just 1 or 2 chapters? If I were to give you a list directly, it would look something like this. Planet Eliadu, Transportation Hub, Fortress Galaxy. Haven Planet, Cultural Center, Population Gathering. Umbrella, Biotech. Tyron Heavy Industries, Starcraft Technology. Higra Aerospace, Homeland Technology. Would you be satisfied with that? The content I've written over the past few days, if condensed into 4,000 words, would still be substantial. Next, there are technology introductions, battleship introductions, and equipment introductions. If I condense everything into 4,000 words, each entry would have a maximum of a few dozen words. Any more, and it wouldn't work. You can see the effect for yourself. My original intention was to summarize these introductory elements, introduce them all at once, and make everything clear. After I finish, I won't need to revisit these topics. In the future, when the plot involves these companies and planets, you can refer back to these chapters. After all, this is a long novel with many terms and data points. If I had to summarize every day, it would be too much. So I wrote it, and now you think it's too much. What should I write then? Should I continue pushing the plot? Darth Krayt was supposed to appear, so I've delayed writing this summary. As a result, I wrote it and got criticized again. So, should I write it or not? Forget it. I'll try to simplify it as much as possible, but I still need to explain what should be explained. Otherwise, it will just become a list. Higra Aerospace Group. This subsidiary was initially established by the Fourth Civilization primarily for the research and production of warships in Homeland. At the beginning of the Fourth Civilization, Higra Aerospace Group undertook most of the battleship construction work, making significant contributions to the safety and stability of the civilization. However, with the outbreak of war, the technology of the warring parties developed rapidly, and the technology owned by Higra Aerospace Group began to fall behind. Currently, the company's main orders are no longer from Dawn, but are primarily for building warships for the Semillas and some relatively backward planets within the Confederacy of Independent Galaxies. After all, those cutting-edge warships are not affordable for backward planets. From the current perspective, Higra Aerospace Group is the most active company on the black market. Citadel Standard Light Industry. This company has been established for about a year, mainly focusing on technological products from Mass Effect. Despite its youth, the development of Citadel Standard Light Industry has been extremely rapid. This company provides firearms and combat uniforms for almost all the Army troops in the Dawn territory, from the simplest M5 Phalanx pistol to the powerful M92 Kane grenade launcher. A complete family of firearms has been formed. Moreover, these firearms have not been withdrawn from the market despite the Army's upgrades. For example, the M5 Phalanx pistol is now the standard equipment for the security police in the Liming territory. In terms of combat uniforms, from the widely used Liberator 2 combat uniforms by the Army's regular forces to the N7 combat uniforms used by the Fourth Army, and even various special protective clothing, the market in this area is also very large. Halo Weapon Systems. This company is somewhat different from other state-owned companies. In the Dawn territory, Halo Weapon Systems is a comprehensive company, somewhat similar to the Fourth Group. This company, with Halo technology at its core, boasts a very wide product line. From the M41 double-barrel rocket launcher to the now famous Scorpion tank, the M9 Wolverine anti-aircraft combat vehicle, the M2274 Mongoose assault off-road vehicle, the Warthog armed off-road vehicle, the D-77 Daigo transport plane, the M650 Mastodon personnel carrier, and even the Infinity-class super aircraft carrier, which is nearly 5,000 meters in length. All are products of Halo Weapon Systems. Moreover, the latest secret project of the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group, the Spartan Project, was also developed in cooperation with Halo Weapon Systems. Dr. Halsey, the founder of the Spartan Project, is currently working with this company. Giant God Security is a security company, but to put it bluntly, It is the force used by the Dawn Territory to carry out some shady, illegal activities and even participate in gang struggles. Currently, it is mainly active in Hutt space, playing the role of mercenaries in the struggles of several Hutt families. In fact, it is also a tool used by Tang Xiao to interfere in Hutt's space. The leader of this security company, Big Boss, is a ruthless expert in special operations and guerrilla warfare. With the cooperation of the professional pirate Mirahan, he has turned Giant God Security into a fearsome mercenary force in Hutt space. Salary Industrial Group is a company founded by the Solarians. Similar to the early days of the Fourth Civilization, it uses this company to develop, manufacture, and deliver products of its own civilization. Its main source of technology is the Emma Empire in EV. The battleships produced by this company are the main battleships of the next generation of the Liming Navy, making its development prospects very promising. The main products include Disaster-class battlecruisers, Hell's Angel-class, Doomsday Battlefield-class battlecruisers, Enforcer-class destroyers, Sentinel-class electronic warfare frigates, and Purification-class stealth special service ships. Damask Holding Group was formerly Darth Plagueis Company, primarily an investment company that created immense wealth for Plagueis and occupied a large amount of strategic resources through stealing and looting. After being inherited by Tang Xiao, the industries of the Damask Holding Group were gradually divided up. For example, warship manufacturing was assigned to the Fourth Group, and mining was assigned to the United Mining Group. Over time, it continued to develop in terms of investment, mainly to invest in and support some promising sunrise industries in Limingling. However, the essence of this company has not changed. It still controls some growing potential stocks in the name of investment. Tang Xiao never planned to implement market liberalization in Liming territory. In his development plan and administrative methods for Liming territory, he emphasized two words: power and control. In addition to state-owned companies, Dawn Leader also has extensive connections with many companies that already existed in the galaxy. First and foremost are the Trade Union, the Interstellar Banking Association, and the Rendili Interstellar Power Company. The leaders of these three super companies have become Tang Xiao's loyal servants for various reasons. The connection with Thornhill, the co-chairman of the Interstellar Banking Association, started with Darth Plagueis and continued smoothly. The governor of the trade union, Newt Gunray, was lured away from Darth Sidious through a series of threats and incentives. The Rendili Interstellar Power Company successfully severed ties with the Galactic Republic through its alliance with Tang Xiao. These three supercorporate giants are among the top 5 supergiants in the entire galaxy. Their influence extends across the entire galaxy, and the economic output they generate far surpasses that of the current Dawn territory. While private enterprises cannot be directly compared to the power of a state, their immense scale is evident. Naturally, it is impossible for Limingling to completely absorb a company of this magnitude. They can only exert influence through its senior management. This influence is sufficient to allow them to keep pace with Limingling. However, Lundili Interstellar Power Company is different. Those who have allied with Tang Xiao are essentially considered his private property. The ongoing relocation of the Lundili planet is a process of assimilating Lundili. Additionally, SoloSub, a super-industrial company from the planet Solest, has begun shifting its focus to the Dawn territory, following the incorporation of Solest. In the future, it will be an important part of the Liming territory. Furthermore, the Enterprise Alliance, the Retail Industry Alliance, and several engine manufacturing companies on the planet Marathol maintain excellent relationships with the Dawn territory, becoming significant business partners. With a vast territory, abundant resources, powerful industry, comprehensive technology database, diverse races, and a well-developed business system, the Dawn territory is now a formidable power. In the foreseeable future, after assimilating these populations and technologies, the Dawn territory will become even stronger, potentially challenging the Galactic Republic. The most direct manifestation of these transformations is in military strength. The Dawn territory's military is divided into 2 branches, the Army and the Navy. The Army includes all forces operating on the planet's surface, such as atmospheric aircraft, ground forces, armored units, sea battleships, and submarines. The Navy encompasses all spacefaring forces, primarily battleships. Currently, the total strength of the Dawn Territory's army is 15 million soldiers, all of whom have undergone systematic training. As more immigrants arrive from the planet Lundili, the size of the army will continue to grow. It is estimated that within the next 5 years, the army could expand to as many as 100 million soldiers. The majority of those serving in the Dawn Territory's army are humans, accounting for about 80% of the force. However, there are also significant numbers of soldiers from other races. The Semiers, the first race to cooperate with the Fourth Civilization, have a strong relationship with the Dawn Territory. Many Semiers serve as fire support in the army, with a single Semier providing firepower equivalent to that of an armored vehicle. The Ewoks, a bear-like race, have entered a period of rapid development under the leadership of the Fourth Civilization. Originally a primitive society, sociological experts predict that they will enter the interstellar era within the next 2 to 3 generations. The Ewoks are the perfect jungle troops due to their flexible bodies and keen senses, and the Dawn Territory has indeed established an Ewok jungle troop. The Solarians are renowned for their Solarian Special Service Force, recognized as the most formidable special force in the galaxy. This unit excels in assassination, infiltration, and various other covert operations. The force comprises about 1,000 soldiers, each an elite fighter with extensive battle experience. The Solarians' metabolism is more than twice that of humans, allowing them to move and think faster, despite their shorter life expectancy. The army of the Dawn Territory, despite being only about 40 years old, is a formidable force. In addition to their elite special forces, the Solarians also maintain regular troops within the Liming Army, numbering around 20,000. Many Solarians also serve in staff and intelligence roles, contributing significantly to the Army's operations. The standard individual equipment for the Dawn Land Army includes firearms from Mass Effect, manufactured by Shenbao Standard Light Industry. The current firearms system is comprehensive and adaptable to various needs. The N7 Valkyrie assault rifle is the standard issue for the Army. Although the combat uniforms have not been upgraded recently due to the extensive nature of such a project, the Liberator 2 combat uniform remains in use. This uniform offers a degree of protection in vacuum environments and good defense, though it does not match the comprehensive protection of the Galactic Republic's clone soldiers' alloy armor. However, it strikes a balance between performance and cost. The addition of the Scorpion tank has transformed the Dawn Land Army into a comprehensive armored force. The Scorpion tank's production is straightforward, and despite its recent introduction, over 10,000 units have been produced and deployed across most frontline planets. The Army's structure includes the Scorpion tank as the core, with long-range fire support from siege tanks, fast assault capabilities from Vulture tanks, and M9 Wolverine anti-aircraft tanks, and armored personnel transport by the M650 Mastodon. Infantry support is provided by Wolf mechs and Giant mechs. The Thor mecha, an ultimate combat unit, is also in the production plan. For air support, the Army utilizes Banshee fighters and specially modified Ghost fighters to enhance ground attack capabilities and maneuverability within the atmosphere. The D-77 Pelican transport aircraft, now in active service, significantly boosts the Army's planet-level delivery capabilities. The Kisov-class battlecruiser, converted into an orbital airborne battleship platform, has been integrated into the Dawn Army's fleet. Currently, 10 Kisov-class battlecruisers are in service. If deployed simultaneously, they can orbit and parachute a force of tens of thousands. However, the Liming Army currently lacks sufficient orbital airborne troops, primarily relying on the Injoli Avenger 101, a biological weapon manufactured by the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group, for airdrop missions. Although the 4th Legion is capable of orbital airborne missions, the technology for orbital airborne capsules is not yet fully mature, leading to potential losses during deployment. Therefore, the military commander of the Dawn Territory reserves the use of the 4th Legion for critical situations. As the most elite unit, the 4th Legion's 30,000-strong force can significantly impact any battlefield, not just in orbital airborne operations. Maintaining this elite force is costly, largely due to the mysterious Rebirth Plan, one of the most secretive projects in the Dawn territory. Thank you to the Lord who generously rewarded the flower of the past, and thank you all for your continued support. Expect explosive updates on weekends, starting with 4 chapters a day. Chapter 1535, Grand Duke Liming, 12. The Fourth Legion is the most powerful force in the Dawn territory. Although its number is only 30,000, this force can stand against any adversary. Even the formidable Camino clone army of the Galactic Republic, with its nearly unlimited logistical and equipment supplies, has faced defeat in several battles against the Fourth Legion. The current Fourth Legion is known as the Black Legion within the Galactic Republic's army, a name derived from their standard combat uniform, the N7 combat uniform. This uniform not only offers excellent protection and action assistance capabilities, but also features individual shields, a luxury unimaginable even for the Galactic Republic. These individual shields can withstand only a few attacks before needing to cool down after being hit by several blaster rifles in succession. However, in actual combat, the difference in effectiveness between soldiers with and without individual shields is significant. Soldiers equipped with shields can survive the initial wave of attacks, find cover, and then counterattack once their shields have recooled. In contrast, soldiers without shields, even if not fatally injured, suffer a continuous decline in combat effectiveness. Every soldier of the Fourth Legion undergoes rigorous training in combat skills from birth, and their physical fitness is continuously enhanced through body-strengthening medicine provided by the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Group. While the Camino clone soldiers of the Galactic Republic are replicated from a perfect sample, the Fourth Legion soldiers are constantly improved from a less-than-perfect sample. The most terrifying aspect of the Fourth Legion is that every soldier is part of the Rebirth Project. This project combines the genetic technology of Resident Evil, the cloning and consciousness transfer technology of Eve, and the essence transfer technique from Sith alchemy. Through this program, each soldier creates a backup of themselves, including a body in peak condition, a pre-battle consciousness backup, and a link formed by the essence transfer technique. If a soldier dies in battle, the essence transfer technique pulls their soul back, absorbs the backup consciousness, and resurrects them in a new body. This process is necessary because an ordinary person's soul cannot carry all their consciousness. For Darth Malthael himself, the essence transfer technique skips the intermediate step. Thus, soldiers in the Rebirth Project are fearless on the battlefield. They can survive countless battles, growing stronger through continuous accumulation. In contrast, a clone trooper of the Galactic Republic might survive 99 battles, but if they die in the 100th, all their experience is lost. Soldiers of the Fourth Legion, however, have countless opportunities to participate in the 100th battle, widening the capability gap between them and the clone troopers. Many fighter pilots in the Dawn territory have also joined the Rebirth Project. Unlike the mandatory participation for the Fourth Legion, fighter pilots can choose whether to join the project. Currently, about 20,000 pilots have opted in. Pilots have joined the Rebirth Plan. For most ordinary people, the concept of the Rebirth Plan is still hard to accept. All pilots who refuse to join will have their memories of this conversation erased by a special device to prevent any leaks. However, the existence of the Rebirth Plan has not gone entirely unnoticed. For instance, other pilots have observed that someone who was shot down returned a few days later, fully intact and with vague memories of the battle. This naturally raises suspicions. Despite these doubts, the Rebirth Plan remains classified as top secret. For the Army of the Dawn territory, the future lies in the widespread use of individual power armor. Currently, the individual power armor nearing deployment includes the CMC-300 power armor, Raynor power armor, and Vulture power armor. The CMC-300 power armor, derived from the technology of the Starcraft Tyranian Empire, and signed by Tyranian Heavy Industries, is ready for mass production pending final tests. However, due to its high cost, it can only be equipped on a small scale. Initially, it was intended for the Fourth Army, but the super soldiers of the Fourth Army who have undergone physical enhancements, found no need for it due to their already superior flexibility and explosive power. Consequently, the CMC-300 power armor will be provided to ordinary frontline soldiers. The first batch of experimental models is being tested by the Beast Legion, a unit of felons on the prison planet Sojourn. After these tests, mass production and delivery will commence. The Rhino power armor, one of two prototypes created by Dr. Octopus, Otto Gunther Octavius, is a heavy power armor with firepower comparable to a heavy tank. Once finalized, it will replace the Battle Wolf mech. The Vulture power armor, a type of flying armor, was initially rejected by the Dawn Army Command due to its complexity. However, it was later found that soldiers from the 4th Legion and the Solari Special Service Force could handle and even preferred this type of armor, so it was retained as elite-level equipment. The Dawn Territories Army has two main strategies for building its forces. The first strategy involves global projection with a small number of elite troops. This is achieved through the orbital airborne capabilities of the Kisov-class battlecruiser and the D-77 Pelican transport plane, deploying units like the Injoli Avenger Type 101, CMC-300 power armor, and Rhino mecha to inflict maximum damage with minimal forces. The second strategy focuses on large-scale armored unit assaults on the frontal battlefield. This involves using a large number of Scorpion tanks and M650 Mastodon personnel carriers in coordination with other armored units to execute a comprehensive mechanized assault and quickly break through enemy lines. These strategies are tailored to the needs of land warfare in the interstellar era. Due to the existence of space battleships, land battles emphasize globalization and elitism, as the carrying capacity of warships is limited. This also impacts the large-scale use of armored forces, as armored units require significant resources and space. The Limming Army relies heavily on logistics, which limits their ability to sustain long-term protracted battles. Therefore, what the Limming Army needs is a swift frontal armored force assault combined with orbital airborne operations to resolve conflicts quickly and avoid being drawn into prolonged warfare. The Navy of the Dawn Territory, with the assistance of the mysterious and comprehensive database of the Mothership Glory, has become an exceptionally formidable force. Starting with the Cobalt Alloy-class frigates, Vengeance-class destroyers, and Apocalypse-class light cruisers, the Dawn Territory has developed a fleet of Kilometer-class capital ships, with the Hydra-class battlecruisers as the main force, in just a few years. Soon after, the Cole-class battlecruiser and the Soa-class aircraft carrier were constructed. Additionally, Severance Tan discovered the Blade Fleet, and the more than 170 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers played a crucial role in the war. The Dawn Leader Fleet, with the Cole-class battlecruiser and the Sova-class aircraft carrier as its core, has repeatedly inflicted significant damage on the Galactic Republic's fleet. In many battles, the loss ratio between the two fleets was at least 1-3, and sometimes it reached as high as 1-10. Following the Battle of the Eliadu Galaxy, the Dawn Territory's former main battleships were severely damaged, and the Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers also suffered heavy losses. Consequently, they initiated a new round of naval reforms. Unlike the previous reliance on the warships of the Traitors Emergency Alliance from Original Sins of a Solar Empire, the new main warships are dominated by those of the Amar Empire from Eve. These warships were researched and built by the Solarians. Thanks to the Solarians' super-fast work efficiency, they quickly overcame numerous technical difficulties under the leadership of Sila Arroyo Barlow, the Minister of the Research Department of the Dawn Territory, and Ruiran, the Chief Engineer. They successfully produced a large number of warships. The Solarians also established the Salari Industrial Group to manufacture and sell these warships. However, the production capacity of the Salari Industrial Group is limited. After the design and finalization of these battleships, many were authorized to other industrial groups in Limingling for construction. For example, Higra Aerospace Group, Rendili Interstellar Power Company, and Solosub Company were authorized to produce these warships. Rendili Interstellar Power Company, in particular, had excess production capacity, as their flagship product, the Victory II-class Star Destroyer, had not yet been released, leaving many interstellar docks idle. Higra and Solosub, whose own products were outdated, could only serve as OEMs. Tyron Heavy Industries and the Fourth Group did not need these authorizations because they had their own active products, such as the Behemoth-class battlecruiser and various fighters and transport aircraft. The Fourth Group also had a variety of warships from original sins of a solar empire that needed to be built. During the confrontation between the Eliadu Galaxy and the Galactic Republic, the Dawn Territory quietly completed the transformation of its fleet, resulting in a more diverse array of warships. Among the 1,000-meter-class capital ships of the Dawn Territory are the Hell Angel-class heavy armored battleships, 1,254 meters, the Disaster-class battleships equipped with particle light spears, 1,550 meters, the Doomsday Battlefield class, 1,049 meters, capable of absorbing and neutralizing enemy ship energy, the Dunov class equipped with a shield long-range replenishment system, 1,020 meters, and the Cole class equipped with advanced anti-aircraft gun arrays and hypermaterial electromagnetic guns, 1,100 meters. The Behemoth-class warship, equipped with Yamato guns, is positioned 1,300 meters away. The Martha-class heavy cruiser, part of the Cloud series of missiles, is stationed 940 meters away. These warships alone form a complementary and highly effective combat combination. The fleet includes the Hell Angel class as a meat shield, the Behemoth and Cole classes for mid-range artillery support, the Doomsday Field and Dunov classes for assistance, and the Martha class for fire coverage. The Disaster class handles ranged attacks. With the support of the SOA-class aircraft carrier at 1,300 meters, this fleet is nearly invincible. After these battleships entered mass production, the configuration of the 1,000-meter battleships in the Dawn Territory stabilized. The next main task is to gradually phase out the Cole-class battlecruisers and SOA-class aircraft carriers and modernize the fleet, especially with the upcoming release of Original Sin of a Solar Empire 2. Additionally, the fleet will incorporate the Victory II-class Star Destroyer produced by Rendili Star Dynamics. In terms of small and medium-sized warships, the 344-meter-long Apocalypse-class light cruiser and the 290-meter-long Brown Bear-class heavy destroyer, which have been in service for many years, will gradually retire from active duty. They will be reassigned to the escort fleet or planetary defense fleet. These two types of warships did not perform well in actual combat, mainly because their opponents, the Arkatensi-class light cruisers of the Galactic Republic, were superior. These warships will be replaced by the 288-meter-long Enforcer-class heavy destroyer. There are also rumors that the Salari Industrial Group is preparing to launch two new types of light warships to enhance the combat capabilities of vessels under 500 meters in the Dawn Territory. These new warships are currently known only by their names, the Tyrant class and the Pioneer class. Additionally, the 296-meter-long Juggernaut-class UAV carrier, the 260-meter diameter Xingzi-class maintenance UAV carrier, the 300-meter-long Lantien-class command ship, and the 344-meter-long Ogre-class torpedo cruiser will continue to play unique and crucial roles in the Dawn Leader's fleet. Among the frigate classes in the 100-meter length range, the 100-meter-long Guard-class light air defense destroyer and the 85-meter-long Javelin-class missile frigate will remain in service due to their classic design. Despite their long service, the Guard class will be upgraded with more advanced anti-aircraft guns and fire control systems, while the Javelin class will be equipped with more powerful missiles. The 78-meter-long Cobalt Alloy class heavy frigate will be retired from active service, as will the 34-meter-long Reckless Spike Dart class light frigate, due to changing requirements in the Dawn Territory. Chapter 1536, Grand Duke of Dawn, 13. In addition to the Cobalt Alloy, Reckless, and Spearman classes, there are also Pulsar frigates that have been completely retired from active service. Due to design issues, the Pulsar frigate is a slow, medium-range fire support ship. Once retired, it holds no value for the escort fleet and is often sold on the black market. However, the reasons for the retirement of the Reckless class and Spear class light frigates are somewhat different. These two types of light frigates were retired because they no longer had suitable opponents. In the past, the Dawn territory relied on these frigates to supplement the performance and firepower of its fighter jets, primarily using them to combat the fighter groups of the Galactic Republic. Now, with a large number of new fighter jets joining active service, the fighter formation of the Dawn territory has the strength to compete head-on with the Galactic Republic's fighter formation, rendering these light frigates obsolete. Among light frigates of about 30 meters, the Valkyrie guided missile frigate is much more lethal to fighter jets. The fighter jets of the Dawn territory are still based on ghost fighters. However, the Wraith fighter has undergone continuous improvements. Its avionics system, fire control system, weapon system, energy transmission system, engine system, shield system, and stealth system have all been upgraded with the most advanced equipment. The combat capability of the current Ghost Fighter is vastly superior to the original model. In fact, the current Ghost Fighter is also stealth capable, and the detection radar of the Galactic Republic needs to operate at extremely high power to detect it. Although the Republic is constantly improving its anti-stealth methods, the Ghost Fighter remains a step ahead. The latest CFA-17 Gene G Ghost Fighter, in terms of actual air combat effectiveness, may be slightly inferior to the latest V-Wing fighter of the Galactic Republic. However, with the help of its stealth system, the V-Wing fighter finds itself at a disadvantage, often losing track of the Ghost Fighter and becoming vulnerable to unilateral attacks. It was precisely for this reason that the Dawn Commander did not prioritize the upgrade of the Wraith fighter. However, this does not mean that the Dawn Leader's development in the field of fighter jets has stopped. With the new Viking fighters entering active service, the firepower of the Dawn Leader's fighter formation has significantly increased. Although slightly less flexible, the Viking fighter is far superior in speed and firepower compared to the Wraith fighter and also possesses stealth capabilities. To put it more vividly, the Wraith fighter is akin to a dogfighter, while the Viking fighter is a long-range strike fighter. Although Viking fighters have not participated in many battles since their incorporation into active service, they have achieved excellent results each time. Currently, the Liming Army is also considering the Viking fighters. The naval Viking fighters do not have a transformation function, but Lieutenant General Cheng Shi-Tao hopes to order a batch of Viking fighters with this capability to meet their atmospheric operation needs. After all, who wouldn't want a piece of equipment that can engage in air combat and transform into a mech for land combat? Looking ahead, the Halo Weapon System Group has also joined the competition in the field of fighter jets. They have already proposed the plan and prototype of the F-41 Broadsword fighter jet, which is currently under evaluation. The military had equipped the Dawn Caller with 2 air superiority fighters and a large number of Vulture robot fighters to supplement their own fighter shortage. These jets were purchased through the Trade Alliance at a low cost and in large quantities. However, in actual combat, they were often shot down by Republic fighter jets piloted by clone pilots. The Dawn Caller also acquired a limited number of new triple robot fighters, but the High Command deemed them no cost effective. Similarly, the Coyote robot bombers were only introduced in small numbers because their missions could be performed by Viking fighters. The Vulture robot fighters were also slated for elimination to be replaced by drones according to the Supreme Command's plan. Currently, the Salary Industrial Group has developed 2 drone designs, the light drone Acolyte and the medium drone Infiltrator. The ambitious Halo Weapon Systems Group has also introduced its own UAV program, the F-99 Kangaroo. Unexpectedly, a new competitor emerged in the drone field, the Protoss. The leader of the Sirak tribe, Zirakus, provided the Protoss's swarm drone interceptor to the Supreme Command of the Dawn territory. This unmanned interceptor, with a body diameter of less than 2 meters, performs well against both air and ground targets, living up to its name by resembling a swarm of bees. Originally, these drones were equipped on Protoss aircraft carriers. Although the Protoss currently lack the capability to produce aircraft carriers, building interceptors is not an issue. Previously, the Protoss did not share their equipment with the Dawn Caller, including transport planes and various probe and sentry robots. This time, however, they proactively offered the swarm interceptor, which is a significant development. The upgrade of the fighter field, especially drones, is progressing rapidly. The Vulture robot fighters, which possess a certain level of intelligence, have been handed over to planetary security forces and have proven to be highly effective in maintaining public security. Additionally, there is another crucial yet low-key fleet in the Dawncaller's Navy, the escort fleet. This fleet is essential for conducting trade and material delivery with other galaxies in the Milky Way. Given the chaotic nature of the Hutt dimension, where many trades pass through, a strong escort fleet is necessary. Interstellar pirates frequently target these transport fleets, indifferent to whether they belong to the Dawn Leader or the Confederation of Independent Galaxies. They seize goods, sell them in shady markets, and then lay low until the heat dies down. Using frontline warships for escort duties is impractical, so the cost-effectiveness of these escort fleets is paramount. Chapter 1537, Grand Duke of Dawn, 14. Currently, the most prominent escort warship in the Dawn territory is the Grey Horse-class escort aircraft carrier. This aircraft carrier is relatively inexpensive, essentially serving as a flying hangar platform. It is ideal for escort missions because any losses incurred are not significant. The Grey Horse-class escort aircraft carrier primarily carries outdated ghost fighters and numerous stealth fighters produced by Higra Aerospace Group. Higra's stealth fighter, a crescent-shaped light fighter, is equipped with 2 laser cannons on either side. Due to its weak firepower, it was never selected by the regular army of Limingling. However, these patchwork fighter jets and spaceships are more than adequate for dealing with pirates. The stealth capability, even with basic invisibility technology, often blinds most pirates upon encounter. Another key component of the escort fleet is the Cobalt Alloy-class heavy frigate. This frigate has a high production rate and was widely used in the escort fleet before being withdrawn from the Navy's frontline establishment. Alongside the Vengeance-class destroyers, Apocalypse-class light cruisers, and Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers, which are also being phased out, these ships form the escort fleet of the Dawn territory. While not the most powerful, this fleet is sufficient for most escort missions and, importantly, is cost-effective. The most powerful, mysterious, and terrifying component of the Liming Navy is the super battleship. The Dawn leading navy has 2 types of super warships in active service, the Ragnarov-class Titan warship and the Ankron-class Titan warship. The only Ragnarov-class Titan battleship, the Plague, was destroyed by the Galactic Republic during the previous war. However, before its destruction, the Titan battleship, under the command of Severance Tan, once threatened the core area of the Republic, causing widespread alarm. After extensive research and discussion by the Dawn Leader's Supreme Command, it was decided to cease production of the Ragnarov-class Titan battleship. The cost of building a Titan battleship is extremely high, and the Ragnarov class, with a length of 14,100 meters, is no exception. The entire hull of this Titan battleship is essentially a massive electromagnetic gun, providing it with formidable firepower but also making it structurally fragile. Although the Ragnarov class can destroy almost any warship in service with a single shot, it is not always possible to find the optimal target, such as a Commander-class dreadnought. Even if it destroys a Knight-class Star Destroyer with one shot, it is still a loss because the Titan battleship becomes more vulnerable when it fires. Despite the 400-meter caliber ultra-super cannon's immense power, it remains a sub-light speed weapon. Although it theoretically has unlimited range, its hit rate drops significantly as the distance increases. Based on the research results of the Dawn Leaders, they prefer ultra-long-distance light-speed weapons, such as particle light spears, believing this to be the future of weapon development. This preference is selective. Although more advanced and powerful mass acceleration weapons like gigabit cannons exist in the Mothership database, both Tang Xiao and Qi Jian favor light spears. As a result, the Ragnarov-class Titan battleship was given to the Federation of Independent Galaxies as a gift. This decision was inconsequential because when this type of Titan battleship was first shown to Darth Plagueis, the Sith Lord's reaction was. The overall evaluation was that the technology was somewhat backward, but in terms of engineering and structure, there were notable merits. This was the result of focusing intensely on one line of development. Count Dooku was naturally overjoyed after receiving the production authorization for the Ragnarov-class Titan battleship. Unlike Tang Xiao, who had access to hundreds of super battleship designs, the only super battleship Dooku could see and touch was the Conqueror-class battleship. Therefore, he placed high hopes on this Titan battleship with its immense deterrent power. Currently, the second ship of the Ragnarov-class Titan battleship, the Shadow, is being built at Permonta Port. Although the specific progress is unknown, it is certain that it is very close to completion. Another type of Titan battleship is the Ankron class. Although the Ankron class does not look as sharp as the Ragnarov class, it measures 9,440 meters long, 5,910 meters wide, and 1,220 meters high, making it larger overall than the Ragnarov class. The most powerful feature of the Ankron-class Titan battleship is its role in supporting the fleet. Whether it is group shielding, destruction matrix, or fury repair, these functions can easily influence the outcome of a battle. Therefore, the Ankron class was designated by the Dawn Command as the core pillar of the future Navy. Currently, the only Ankron-class Titan battleship, Xuanwu, is stationed in the Iliadu Galaxy. The presence of this Titan battleship deters the Galactic Republic from attacking, even though they have assembled several times the heavy troops in the Kira Galaxy. This is the deterrent power of the Xuanwu. The second ship of the Ankron-class Titan battleship is also under intensive construction at the Titan dockyard in the Yago-Dur Galaxy. This ship has been officially named Yaowu. Everything about it, from its armor to its structure and capabilities, is formidable, even down to its name. In addition to these two types of Titan warships, the Solari Industrial Group has launched their own research on Titan warships under Project Avatar with the secret code PA. The PA project has just started, and it is estimated that it will take a long time before construction officially begins. At the same time, there is another type of warship that can be classified as a super battleship, the Infinity-class super aircraft carrier. This ill-fated warship has faced numerous challenges since its inception. Tang Xiao entrusted its design and development to the trade union, and the union's governor, Newt Gunray, was concerned about completing such a complex task. The R&D and manufacturing of this super warship involved the Interstellar Banking Association. Along with the Halo Weapon System Group in charge of the Dawn territory, 3 super companies are developing the Infinity-class super aircraft carrier. However, the construction plan for the Infinity-class was leaked by Rush Clovis, a senior director of the Interstellar Banking Association at the time. This leak put Clovis in a desperate situation, forcing him to accept conditions from Schiff Palpatine. He also became a key figure in the eventual split of the Interstellar Banking Association. Later, during the Battle of the Planet Semirs, Darth Tenebris, another Sith Lord, conspired to obtain part of the design drawings of the Infinity-class super aircraft carrier, leading to further leaks. As a result, although the Infinity class has not yet been completed, there is already an undercurrent of uncertainty surrounding it. In summary, the Dawn Command's Navy has formed a very complete system. From the combat system to the logistics support system and the reuse system of old warships, they ensure the best use of materials, meeting the biggest challenges with the highest efficiency and the lowest cost. Chapter 1538, Military Parade. At this moment, a large air formation composed of hundreds of Wraith fighter jets flew over the ceremony site. The pilot faced the camera screen in the cockpit, raised his hand in salute, and pressed a button simultaneously. All the Wraith fighter tail emitters immediately emitted colorful light bands. These lights condensed in the sky, becoming brighter and brighter, eventually illuminating the entire sky. This phenomenon was due to a rare luminescent substance that glows brightly after chemical reactions and energy stimulation. Under the colorful lights, all the viewers who watched the ceremony, live from various angles, realized that a massive army had gathered in front of the high stage where Tang Xiao stood. This live broadcast was for the entire galaxy. Although the Galactic Republic attempted to block the signal, the top leaders of the Republic's Supreme Strategic Command gathered in a conference room to watch the ceremony. They weren't there for entertainment, They wanted to observe their future biggest enemy. When these high-level commanders saw the enormous army assembled on the ground, almost everyone's expressions changed dramatically. The army had already begun to march in neat steps, passing in front of the high platform where Tang Xiao, Count Dooku, and Adele Ulan were standing. Leading the parade were 100 soldiers equipped with CMC 300 power armor. From the perspective of the high-ranking commanders of the Republic, these 2-meter-high power armors had a sharp deterrent effect. Painted dark blue, with exaggerated spherical shoulder armor and fully enclosed helmets, these power armors moved with a flexibility that rivaled ordinary soldiers. As they approached the audience where Tang Xiao stood, all the power armor soldiers turned their heads and saluted solemnly and meticulously. In their other hand, they held firearms of astonishing size. Almost simultaneously, the technicians of the Republic became busy. The height dimension is calculated at 2.05 meters to 2.10 meters. It is likely to be the operation method of muscle feedback. Otherwise, it would be impossible to be so flexible. What about the gun? There is no direct lens, but the length of the gun is 1.1 meters, and the estimated caliber is 8 to 10 millimeters. A firearm of this size is estimated to be able to penetrate even armored vehicles. Is it a live ammunition weapon? That's right, I saw the magazine and the trigger device. It's a live ammunition weapon. How about the protection performance? Look here, we calculated based on the height of a human being of 1.8 meters. This is what this person looks like inside this power armor. It should be operated with mechanical negative feet and mechanical arms. There is a separate power source for the back. This shot. I saw it. Damn it, if this power armor is put into battle, our clone troopers are no match at all. Call the people from Rasana Heavy Engineering Company. We must come up with a countermeasure immediately. While they were busy, the grand military parade continued. Behind the CMC 300 power armor was the phalanx of the Liming Army. All the soldiers were armed with the latest N7 Valkyrie assault rifles, looking majestic. Even more shocking were the combat uniforms worn by these army soldiers. At the front of the phalanx were soldiers in light combat uniforms, in the middle were those in medium combat uniforms, and at the rear were soldiers in heavy combat uniforms. It was evident that these combat uniforms were an improved version of the previous Liberator II combat uniform. They had undergone many enhancements, with adjustments made to further improve flexibility while providing stronger defense. Especially the heavy combat uniform, which, even if it didn't look as impactful as the CMC 300 power armor, clearly offered significant protection and capability. The combat uniform will be standardized in the Dawn Army. New firearms, new combat uniforms. The commander-in-chief of the Supreme Battle Command sat with a stern expression. The Separatists have no intention of ending the war. On the contrary, their fervor for conflict is only increasing. Especially the faction led by Dawn Star. Their homeland has not suffered significant damage from the war, and they are reaping the benefits, the Chief of Staff added. We cannot allow Star Dawn to continue like this. If this persists, the threat posed by Star Dawn will soon surpass that of Earl Dooku, the Commander-in-Chief declared. A brief silence fell over the room as everyone turned their attention back to the massive military parade displayed on the screen. The parade showcased an impressive array of military might. The armored phalanx, led by Scorpion tanks, followed by battle robots, giant mechas, wolf mechas, and even the SCV mech phalanx. Dawnstar demonstrated its comprehensive military strength, including frontline combat and logistical support systems. The parade featured field medical platforms, cooking platforms, maintenance platforms, and more. In the logistics soldiers phalanx, the CMC 300 modified medical power armor, painted white, was prominently displayed. As this power armor passed by the high platform where Tang Xiao stood, its mechanical arms were raised high, showcasing surgical knives, syringes, and other medical equipment. This medical armor could perform surgery anytime, anywhere. The crowd, including the fortunate Dawn leaders who attended the ceremony, erupted in wild cheers and waves, creating an atmosphere that could only be described as fanatical. Boom! The Commander-in-Chief slammed his fist on the table and turned to his staff. Draft a battle plan to attack Dawn Star immediately. Submit it to the speaker for approval. We cannot allow Dawnstar to be so arrogant." The Chief of Staff frowned and replied, "But initiating an attack on Dawnstar, even if we start from the model star area through the hyperspace channel opened by Master Yoda, that narrow channel can hardly support the deployment of our fleet. It was for this reason that Master Yoda returned home." "You still call that traitor of the Republic a master?" "No, he is a sinner of the Republic. Perhaps his collaboration with the enemy led to our failure. He opened the channel just to trap us in the model star area," the Commander-in-Chief shouted. The Chief of Staff did not argue and nodded. "I will arrange the formulation of the combat plan. In fact, we have already drafted several plans for the attack on Dawnstar. We will carefully organize and refine them to come up with the best strategy as soon as possible." The Commander-in-Chief waved his hand dismissively and continued to watch the military parade on the screen. As the Army phalanx continued, formations of fighter jets began to soar through the air, accompanied by drones, frigates, and destroyers. Rows of fighter jets and warships flew across the sky, with temporary display screens installed under some battleships, broadcasting the loyalty and blessings of naval fighters to their supreme leader. Chapter 1539, Grand Duke of Dawn, Final. As a battleship soared across the sky, a massive holographic projection materialized above the ceremony site, instantly captivating the audience. This projection displayed real-time battlefield images, showcasing the Galactic Republic's warships under relentless attack and destruction. The footage, captured from numerous drones at various angles, provided a comprehensive view of the ongoing conflict. Despite the vast expanse of the cosmic battlefield, spanning tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of kilometers, the drones managed to capture close-up shots of the Republic's warships. This indicated that the Republic's forces were too overwhelmed to divert firepower to eliminate these non-threatening drones. One screen depicted a Jaeger-class battlecruiser in disarray, clearly out of formation. The Lemming fleet relentlessly targeted this ship with a barrage of laser beams and missiles. Under the continuous assault, the battlecruiser's shields eventually failed. Bright, thick pulsed laser beams then pierced its hull, leading to a catastrophic explosion. The ship broke into 3 sections, ejecting debris and corpses into the void, all captured by the drone. Another screen showed a Knight-class Star Destroyer engaged in a fierce dogfight with a Hell's Angel-class battlecruiser. The two ships, no more than 10 kilometers apart, exchanged heavy fire. The Knight class, equipped with 60 dual-mounted heavy turbo laser cannons, unleashed a torrent of laser beams. The Hell's Angel class retaliated with its 8 heavy laser cannons, turning its hull sideways for maximum effect. Both ships, heavily armored and armed, inflicted significant damage on each other. The larger Knight class seemed to have the upper hand. Suddenly, a pale green light emanated from the Hell's Angel class, reducing the impact of the Knight class's attacks. The audience erupted in cheers as the colossal figure of the Xuanwu appeared on the screen. The sides of the Xuanwu glowed with a dazzling red light, indicating the activation of its group shields. Within the shield's effective range, the Dawn Territory's warships received minimal damage, demoralizing the Republic's forces. They either had to wait for the shield to deactivate or gather substantial firepower for a concentrated attack. However, the Republic's 17th Army Fleet was too scattered to mount such an offensive. The Knight-class Star Destroyer eventually succumbed, its shields penetrated. Despite this, the Republic's new warships demonstrated their resilience, proving to be significantly tougher than the Jaeger class. However, even under the relentless pursuit of the Titan battleship Xuanwu, the Knight-class ship was finally overwhelmed. The towering bridge of the battleship became the focus of Xuanwu's firepower. Despite the Knight-class ship raising additional armor around the bridge, it couldn't withstand the continuous attacks. Eventually, the entire bridge of the Knight-class Star Destroyer was blown off and separated from the ship. A battleship that loses its bridge is like a fly without a head, still moving, but aimlessly. At this moment, the cold voice of Ling Liang, the governor of the Sesvena sector and general of the Liming army, echoed. In the Battle of the Eneco Galaxy in the Sesvena sector, a victory is presented to the respected Duke Liming. Oh, victory! Victory! The audience erupted into cheers like a tsunami. Ling Liang's image appeared on the screen, and she solemnly gave a military salute, saying, "At this moment, the Dawn leader, Sasvena Star Division, launched an attack on the main fleet of the invading Galactic Republic's 17th Army in the Anako Galaxy. Our fleet has won a complete victory. We sank one of the enemy's Commander 2 dreadnoughts, severely damaged another, and decimated more than half of the other types of warships in the Republic fleet. This is our victory for Dawn. It is also a victory for Duke Dawn. I am a natural disaster. I am a natural disaster. I am a natural disaster. I am a natural disaster." The crowd chanted wildly, many even crying with joy. The on-site shooting drone, controlled by the director, lowered its height, clearly showing the frenzied expressions on the screen. As the ceremony reached its climax, a black shadow appeared in the sky, gradually growing larger. Flames caused by air friction began to appear beneath the shadow. It was a behemoth-class battlecruiser. The massive 1,300-meter-long hull of the battleship descended directly from the sky. The sky at the ceremony site was cloudless, allowing everyone to see the entire process of the battleship descending from space into the atmosphere. The Behemoth-class ship continued to descend, reaching an ultra-low altitude of just 1 kilometer from the ground. The enormous hull and low height created a strong sense of oppression. However, the battleship did not descend directly above the venue, but opposite the high platform where Tang Xiao and the others stood. As the battleship descended, a melodious singing filled the air. Almost everyone present immediately recognized the sweet and ethereal voice. It was Alia Isabella, the superstar of the Dawn territory. She stood at the forefront of the battleship, wearing a gorgeous dress, and sang beautifully to Tang Xiao. The audience was immediately captivated by her singing, which was filled with excitement and hope. The combination of the steel and flames of the battleship with the beautiful actress and her song created a unique aesthetic that resonated deeply with almost everyone. In the holographic projection in the background, scenes from the battlefield in the Anako Galaxy, which had become a one-sided massacre, impacted everyone's hearts. The screen then changed to show hundreds of warships gathering around the periphery of Dawn Star. These large and small warships were arranged in a neat array above Lemming City, presenting a gift to the new Grand Duke Lemming. After the ceremony, almost everyone stayed up all night, including generals and commanders at all levels of the Supreme Strategic Command of the Galactic Republic, as well as the Speaker of the Republic, Schiff Palpatine, who had been following the development of the situation. During the inauguration ceremony of Grand Duke Lemming, they witnessed many significant events that were not easily forgotten. The contrast between Dawn Planet and the Confederation of Independent Galaxies, and even the Galactic Republic, was not only striking but also evoked a sense of intrigue. The differences were profound and palpable. End of this volume. Note, there will be another chapter tonight, but it might be a bit late. If you don't want to wait, you can read it tomorrow morning. Special thanks to Book Friend 22103010641892102 for rewarding Yuri Olav with 1,000 starting coins and an additional 100 starting coins for this book. Also, thanks to 213 for the reward of 800 starting coins. Chapter 1540, Change. Canon provided a means of showing dignity that could be used in place of vulgar swearing. The Record of Generals and Stars of the Fourth Empire. Chapter 15 of Xianhui. The azure figure of the gas giant planet Endor appeared above the Dawn planet, reflecting the light of Endor's star and casting a radiant glow on the surface of the Dawn planet. Throughout the year, there are few occasions when the Dawn planet can directly see the Endor star. However, the light and radiation reflected by the gas giant Endor are sufficient for the Dawn planet to receive enough energy to sustain all forms of life. As a result, Dawn planet is rarely too hot or too cold. It enjoys a climate that is like spring for most of the year, with at least 3 seasons resembling spring. For many residents of Dawnstar who opened their eyes after a night of celebration, this new day was both ordinary and a new beginning. From this day forward, the Dawn territory was formally established. Unlike the Declaration of Independence issued by Planet Dawn during the war, the establishment of the Dawn territory marked the formation of a separate regime or country. In essence, it was the founding of a nation, officially becoming the Principality of Dawn. Although the Principality of Dawn is still nominally subordinate to the Federation of Independent Galaxies, the relationship between the two has evolved to resemble that of a leader and its members. The Duchy of Dawn is now just a member country of the Federation of Independent Galaxies. This is a remarkable time for the many inhabitants of the planet Dawn who arrived in this galaxy with the Mothership. They have experienced homelessness and floating in space, the struggles of being a small colony unable to fend off pirates, and the turning points that led to their current state. Now they finally have their own country, the Duchy of Dawn. Their former manager, former governor, and current Grand Duke, Tang Xiao, is fulfilling his promises to them step by step. In fact, a large part of these promises has already been realized. The Confederation of Independent Systems is also undergoing significant changes. Among the major media broadcasts on Dawn Planet, aside from Tang Xiao's appointment as the Grand Duke of Dawn, the news that is being highlighted is that Count Dooku will officially take the chairmanship of the Confederation of Independent Systems in 3 days. On that day, Grand Duke Tang Xiao will personally attend the event to show his support for his nominal superior. The Galactic Republic is also facing substantial changes. The official establishment of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies and the Principality of Dawn has dealt 2 significant blows to the Republic. Even the Hutts, who have coexisted with the Galactic Republic for so long, have done so by relinquishing their title of the Hutt Empire. The Galactic Republic tolerates the Hutts' independence because they are now referred to as Hutt Space, a place name rather than a country name like the Hutt Empire. Furthermore, the battle in the Enako Galaxy concluded on the night Tang Xiao took office as the Grand Duke of Dawn. Under the precise and relentless actions of the guerrilla fleet led by Rear Admiral Malcolm Granger, the logistical supplies of the main fleet of the 17th Army of the Galactic Republic, which was invading the Enako star system, were cut off. The guerrilla fleet maneuvered between the planet Kalinda and the planet Naboo, disrupting the hyperspace routes and attacking the Republic's transport fleet, managing to hold out for 3 days. Seizing these precious 3 days, Ling Liang commanded the Titan battleship Xuanwu and its associated battle group to launch a fierce attack. The reason for the aggressive assault was to intensify the main fleet of the 17th Army was experiencing significant material consumption, and the commander of the Republic fleet was feeling the pressure, causing disarray. The fleet of the Principality of Liming, under Ling Liang's command, was engaging in what seemed like a reckless attack. However, this was more of a strategic move, akin to presenting a heavily armored and thorny face to the enemy. Despite the fleet's inferiority compared to the Republic's 17th Army, Ling Liang's forces were adept at defensive maneuvers, leveraging the powerful particle light spear. The firepower disparity was evident, with the Republic's 3 Commander 2-class dreadnoughts outgunning the Xuanwu significantly. Aware of this, Ling Liang employed a strategy of using the Xuanwu's group shields to maneuver around the battlefield, constantly adjusting formations. This tactic allowed battleships with intact shields to absorb the Republic's firepower, gradually depleting their supplies and energy. Supported by the Titan battleship Xuanwu, the Principality of Liming's fleet proved to be a formidable opponent, resilient and persistent. Their strategy was clear: endure the assault and outlast the enemy. Admiral Corney of the 17th Army, adhering to his academy training, decided to launch a decisive assault while his supplies were still sufficient, aiming to avoid a prolonged conflict. However, this played right into Ling Liang's hands. The Republic's main fleet launched a relentless attack on the Xuanwu, hoping to destroy it swiftly. Yet the brutal reality soon became apparent. Their supplies were dwindling, while Ling Liang's were continuously replenished. Ling Liang had strategically positioned her forces near the Enako planet, a trade alliance's cargo distribution center, ensuring a steady flow of supplies. After 3 days of intense fighting, the Republic fleet's condition deteriorated. Damaged parts went unreplaced, depleted capacitors remained uncharged, and wounded soldiers were left untreated. The situation reached a critical point when Malcolm Granger led the guerrilla fleet from Naboo to Anako, appearing behind the Republic fleet. This unexpected maneuver was the final blow, breaking the Republic fleet's resolve and turning the tide of the battle. Chapter 1541, Anako's Ending. On the 6th day of the Battle of Anako and the 3rd day after the supply line of the 17th Army of the Republic was cut off, Major General Malcolm Granger's guerrilla fleet made a wide arc, returning from the Republic fleet to the planet Anako. The main fleet of the 17th Army finally couldn't hold out any longer. Strictly speaking, it was Granger's guerrilla fleet that couldn't endure the strain first, prompting them to abandon their harassment tactics and rush back. Despite this, the reinforcements and reserve fleet of the 17th Army remained formidable. Under the command of Governor Lynch Hauser, they halted all transport fleet activities and cleared the hyperspace channel traffic. This strategy ensured that the guerrilla fleet, with its limited number of warships, couldn't cause significant hyperspace fluctuations. Consequently, Granger's fleet could only disrupt the hyperspace waterway by driving away transport and civilian ships from the planet Kalinda. However, the number of ships on Kalinda was finite, and once they could no longer cause hyperspace disturbances, the 17th Army's follow-up fleet managed to break into Kalinda to pursue the guerrilla fleet. Malcolm Granger had to rely on the particle light spear of the Disaster-class battlecruiser and the resilient Hell's Angel-class battlecruiser to fight and retreat. Their supplies were not an immediate concern, as they had previously looted numerous spaceports, amassing substantial resources. The enraged 17th Army fleet split into several teams to encircle Granger. Realizing that Kalinda was no longer tenable, he fled to the planet Naboo. Naboo's defense was significantly stronger, with numerous orbital defense systems. After a day, Granger retreated again, heading directly to Anako. If Admiral Corney could have held out a bit longer, he might have received reinforcements and supplies. However, he was the first to falter. The high-intensity combat had severely depleted their supplies, and the morale of the Navy officers and men was low. When they were eagerly awaiting supplies and reinforcements, they were met not by their own transport fleet, but by a fierce separatist fleet of desperados, albeit seemingly in a hurry. With the formidable Titan battleship Xuanwu pressing hard from the front and an intercepting guerrilla fleet behind, the situation seemed hopeless. The final blow to their morale came when Ling Liang, upon seeing the returning guerrilla fleet, commanded the Xuanwu to charge through the Republic fleet's line to join the guerrilla fleet. The 17th Army's main fleet could only watch helplessly as the Xuanwu moved freely within their formation. A green light curtain then enveloped the guerrilla fleet's battleships, group shields. Admiral Corney's order to concentrate firepower and prioritize the destruction of the severely damaged guerrilla fleet had just been issued. However, under the protection of the group shield, the tattered-looking guerrilla fleet became indestructible. Admiral Corney was utterly frustrated, wanting to shout to the heavens, "I just wanted to fight a serious battle." This scene shattered the Republic fleet's will to fight. Many warships began to turn and flee, scattering from the battlefield and initiating hyperspace jumps to escape this nightmare. Ling Liang immediately commanded the fleet to pursue them relentlessly, capturing and destroying the fleeing Republic warships. The battle formations had disintegrated one by one. This was the scene broadcast publicly during the ceremony where Tang Xiao was inaugurated as the Grand Duke of Liming. The broadcast was transmitted across the galaxy, reaching almost everyone along with the live ceremony. The main fleet of the 17th Army eventually abandoned more than 40 Jaeger-class battlecruisers, all 5 Knight-class star destroyers, and about one-third of their small and medium-sized warships, fleeing in disarray. Of the 3 Commander 2-class dreadnoughts, only 2 returned, with one requiring extensive repairs. Even the surviving warships were severely damaged and would be unfit for battle for some time. The 17th Army's main fleet saw 30% of its total force either destroyed or captured. If one were to calculate the battle damage, the losses exceeded 70%. In reality, if Admiral Corney had remained calm after the supply line was cut off and had not been provoked by the approaching Xuanwu, Adopting a conservative and delaying strategy instead, he could have waited until the supply line was restored. Although there would have been significant losses, they would not have been as catastrophic. The fleet under Ling Liang's command did not possess overwhelming firepower. Her original plan was merely to severely weaken the 17th Army's main fleet and delay their attack. However, through a series of events, both accidental and inevitable, a war of attrition turned into a war of annihilation. "Forgive me, my Grand Duke," said Qijian, the chief of staff of the Principality of Liming, standing solemnly before Tang Xiao. "The victory in the Inako galaxy is both a blessing and a curse." Tang Xiao, with the help of Jarno, was trying on several different outfits in preparation for his departure to the Laxus subplanet to attend the ceremony where Earl Dooku would become the chairman of the Confederation of Independent Galaxies. Hearing Qijian's words, he turned with some displeasure. What's so bad about a major victory? A major victory is certainly a good thing, but it may increase our defensive pressure on the planet Yago-Dur. It could also spread to other planets, such as the model star area or the Christophsis planet, Qijian explained. "Go on," Tang Xiao waved his hand. "After this battle, the 17th Army of the Republic has essentially lost the ability to launch an offensive. The next stage of the Galactic Republic's offensive will undoubtedly focus on our direction," Qijian continued. "Their offensive will still unfold. If they still don't see us as a serious threat after we have inflicted such heavy losses on the Republic, I will look down on Darth Sidious," Tang Xiao snorted coldly. "That's the issue. The Republic's next stage of offensive will undoubtedly target the Yago-Dur galaxy. Their original strategic deployment was to exert pressure from two directions, the Yago-Dur galaxy and the Eliadu galaxy, one from the south and one from the north, to disperse our defensive forces. This would force us to focus on one front and neglect the other," Qijian said. Tang Xiao frowned. "So you mean, after the Eliadu galaxy front is neutralized, the Republic might find a way to open up a new front?" Chapter 1542, Inquiry, Part 1. "That's right," Qijian said. "Given the current state of the 17th Army, it's incredibly challenging to restore their ability to take the initiative in an attack. After witnessing the power of the Xuanwu again, I seriously doubt they have the courage to launch another offensive against it." "Which locations might be targeted?" Tang Xiao asked. "Megiddo planet," Qijian replied. "Although there are Geths in that direction, we can't even determine the direction of their attack. As it stands, the Northern Front Army of the Republic still has a few waterways that can threaten Megiddo. Then there's the planet Christophsis. If the Galactic Republic pressures the Hutts through the Desiligic family, they might also attack in that direction." Tang Xiao pondered for a moment before asking, "Just these two?" "These are the two most likely targets. The other routes are minor, and it's improbable that the Galactic Republic would send a large-scale fleet through them," Qijian answered. "Strengthen the defense of the model sector for me," Tang Xiao ordered bluntly. "The model star area? You mean the waterway Master Yoda opened last time?" Qijian was taken aback. "That waterway isn't natural and remains unpredictable. If it weren't for Master Yoda's powerful force, the countless mass projections in the channel would have torn any battleship to pieces." "Did you not understand what I said?" Tang Xiao shot him a cold look. Qijian immediately broke into a cold sweat and quickly replied, "Yes, yes, I'll do it right away." At this moment, Jarno was still helping Tang Xiao with his clothes, but with a light wave of Tang Xiao's hand, the clothes floated over and dressed him. Even the belts and ribbons flew over to fasten themselves. Jarno was stunned and noticed that Tang Xiao was in a very bad mood. Tang Xiao straightened his clothes casually and walked out without looking back. As he passed by Qijian, he added coldly, "No one knows Darth Sidious's plans better than I do. The model sector is their next target." "Yes," Qijian bowed his head in response. Leela Blissix walked through a magnificently decorated palace where the most luxurious decorations were everywhere. Even the building's structure was made of rare alloys. The palace's owner seemed eager to display all the most precious and rare items in the universe to showcase their wealth and luxury. This was the headquarters of Kuat Power Shipyard. As a rising star, The Kuat family was more scientific and effective in business management, but their lifestyle often made them seem like nouveau riche. The Kuat family lacked the deep-rooted background of old nobility, and as the saying goes, the more people lack something, the more they want to show it off. The Kuat family was desperate for everyone to know they were top nobles in the galaxy's inner circle. Of course, no one could say anything against them. The Kuat family had achieved their goal. They had become the most powerful military-industrial group in the entire galaxy, a force that most people in the galaxy had to look up to. But now, walking through such a gorgeous palace corridor, Leela Blissex felt uneasy. She was very sensitive to politics and had already noticed that recent events had made the Galactic Republic dissatisfied with Kuat Power Shipyard, and when this dissatisfaction was passed on, it would undoubtedly fall on her shoulders. As she approached a gate that was tens of meters high, dozens of beautiful girls in 2 rows pushed the door open and then stood in 2 rows to welcome her in. In reality, the door was opened by an automatic device, and the 2 rows of girls merely made a gesture. However, this simple action of opening the door was imbued with a sense of solemn ceremony. Leela Blissex walked in, only to be greeted by a strong light. The light shone brightly, illuminating a figure seated on a chair, the leader of Kuat Power Dock, Onana Quarter. From her vantage point, Leela Blissex could only see a majestic silhouette, not the face. Beside Onana sat her son, Quarter Jr., and several other high-ranking officials. Leela swallowed nervously. She knew she had to pass this test to continue her plans. Onana's imposing demeanor set the tone for the meeting. It was one of questioning and punishment. If this were a regular meeting, Onana's presence would still be significant, but not as overwhelming as it was now. This was clearly not a meeting for casual conversation. After a tense silence that lasted more than 10 seconds, Leela, realizing the other party would not speak first, broke the ice. "What advice do you have for me, dear Quarter of Quarters?" Onana's voice was cold. "It's up to you, my chief engineer. What happened on the quarter ring half a month ago? Why did Zhang Jiarui escape? Why was the super prototype ship destroyed during the solar eclipse? And why is a deadly virus spreading on the star ring?" "We didn't expect the Separatists to have the capability to infiltrate the Kuat star ring. It seemed completely impossible," Leela responded quickly. "If you didn't foresee it, why did you bring such uncertainty to our planet? Do you realize that a slight mishap could have put the entire planet Kuat in crisis?" Onana's voice rose. "Planet Kuat has been peaceful for tens of thousands of years, but you made us the first to activate the planetary emergency evacuation order in 10,000 years. Leela glanced at Quarter Jr. discreetly, thinking to herself that it was actually his insistence that brought Zhang Jiarui back. But she couldn't say that now. After all, he was Onana's son. The only option was to admit part of the guilt, which might also help Quarter Jr. take some of the blame. At least this way, she might earn his favor and possibly his help. "This is indeed my mistake. I was too obsessed with the Separatists' particle light spear technology. I wanted to close the technological gap and regain our advantage in battleships and technology, so I overlooked the potential dangers behind it," Leela admitted. However, the actions of the Separatists actually highlighted Zhang Jiarui's importance to them. Chapter 1543, Inquiry, Part 2. "So you are eager to obtain the technology of the particle light spear from the Separatists?" Onana Quarter asked coldly. "Yes, dear Quarter of Quarter," replied Leela Blissex. At that moment, a member of the Kuat family standing next to her stepped forward, raised his hand, and tossed a data disk over. "The Galactic Republic is very grateful to you for recovering the technology that was stolen 2.5 years ago," he said. Leela Blissex froze for a moment. She knelt down, picked up the data disk, and pressed the button. A series of data and images were suddenly projected from the miniature holographic projector on the disk. "This is Zhang Jiarui's, the pre-technology of the particle light spear?" Leela looked at the data, feeling a sense of familiarity. "This is the Republic's secret project, the Extractor, which was stolen from the Alaris satellite by the Separatist General Severance Tan 2.5 years ago," Onana Quarter explained. "It took so much effort and almost put the entire Kuat planet in crisis of destruction, and we ended up with such outdated technology. There was anger in her tone. I've asked our best engineer to simulate it. This energy weapon called the Extractor has such a short range that it can't even be used on a battleship. And what is a particle light spear? A weapon that can strike across the galaxy. That's what I got for 2 full days in a planetary shelter. Palpatine didn't even care. He just told me, "Good job, thank you." Lila Blissex was sweating profusely. She lowered her head and said, "This is my oversight." At this time, Little Quarter spoke. "Dear Quarter of Quarter, in fact, even the technology of the Extractor is of great help to us now. If we had obtained the Extractor's technology earlier, we could have made significant advancements in technology focused on using kyber crystals." Is this the reason why the Eclipse class was stopped? Energy focus problems? You should be thankful that the Separatists blew up the Eclipse class prototype ship in this operation, which gives us something to say before the Republic investigation team. Otherwise, if the Eclipse class cannot be completed as scheduled, we Kuat will suffer greatly, Onana Quarter lectured her nephew. Only then did Lila Blissex breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that her previous actions to take the blame for her crimes were rewarded by Little Quarter. At least the plan of the Executor-class Superstar Destroyer has given us enough time to re-examine the main gun technology of the Eclipse class. According to the battlefield data we have obtained so far, the Executor-class Superstar Destroyer is capable of causing significant damage to the Separatist Titan battleship Xuanwu, said Little Quarter. Executor class? Xuanwu. Under the light, Onana Quarter's face suddenly became extremely grim. She said slowly, "I don't know if you and the engineering department you are in charge of have realized this reality. Even if we scoffed at the Titan battleship plague before the Separatists, thinking that the Titan battleship was full of outdated technology, the Executor class we have high hopes for is only barely able to match the plague. We really have to admit that the Separatist warship manufacturing technology is already an era ahead of us." Little Quarter shook his head. "Now, when we look back at the Titan battleship plague, we must also admit a fact. It is not difficult to build an electromagnetic gun, but to build a 10,000-meter-long supergiant electromagnetic gun and install an engine on it so that it can fly is far ahead of us." Onana Quarter turned to Lila Blissex again, her tone becoming cold once more. "And what about the Knight-class Star Destroyer? This is our solemn promise to become the main force of the new generation of the Republic. But until now, every battle the Knight-class Star Destroyer has been involved in has been a disappointment. Has participated in, has slapped us in the face, especially in the Battle of the Kira Galaxy. It was actually destroyed by an unknown torpedo frigate. How do we explain this to the speaker? There is no problem with the performance of the Knight-class Star Destroyer. Even in confrontations with the Separatist Hell's Angels, it holds an advantage," Lila Blissex argued passionately. This was her domain, her expertise. If she lost her reputation as a genius battleship designer, she would be of no use to Kuat Power Dock. Without Kuat, she doubted any place would offer her a 9-figure salary annually. She had no choice but to defend her work to the end. In reality, the Knight-class Star Destroyer had an advantage over the Hell's Angel class, primarily because it was a 1,600-meter-long battleship, significantly larger than the 1,200-meter-long Hell's Angel class. If the Knight class still lost despite this size advantage, everyone at Kuat Power Dock might as well find a piece of tofu and crash to death. "Then tell me, where is our problem?" Onana Quarter demanded. "The problem is that we only have the Knight class. But the Separatists have the Hell's Angel class, the Disaster class, the Doomsday Battlefield class, the Dunov class, the Behemoth class, and the Kethoff class," Lila Blissex explained. "Haven't you considered this? They have so many warship models, each with unique functions and capabilities. Each one seems perfectly honed. Is this even possible?" While we were developing the Knight class and Consul class Star Destroyers, the Separatists introduced 6 new 1,000-meter class capital ship models. Could their research and development capabilities be 6 times stronger than ours? "Indeed, this is the biggest problem we face," Little Kuat added. "Technical backwardness is one aspect, but what's even more disheartening is our lagging R&D speed. This is the main factor preventing us from competing effectively. Because of this, we are extremely interested in every new technology that comes from the Separatists. As he spoke, he was justifying himself and Lila, subtly reminding their high-ranking aunt of the urgency in bringing Zhang Jiarui back to bridge the technological gap between the two sides. Onana Quarter was silent for a long time before finally saying, "Now, there is an opportunity in front of us." Chapter 44, Infighting in Kuat Power Dockyard. Opportunity? What opportunity? Little Kuat asked, frowning at his aunt, Onana Kuat. He knew that when she started conversations like this, it often led to trouble. He was aware of some of the internal issues at Kuat Power Dockyard. Despite her seemingly high position, his aunt's status was not as secure as it appeared. This was why she put on airs in front of Leela Blissex and was so concerned about recent events. The design of a mere star destroyer couldn't possibly threaten Kuat's survival. The real issue was that she felt her position was under threat. As far as I know, the Supreme Strategic Command of the Republic is preparing to launch a second round of offensives against the separatist Mordell sector. This is our opportunity, Onana Kuat said. Little Kuat turned pale with shock. Are we going to intervene in military operations? This is a huge taboo. I have already conducted investigations, and the technologies of Dawn Planet must be foreign. It is absolutely impossible for them to have developed them step by step, Onana Kuat insisted. Although there are many obstacles, I have gathered a lot of information. In fact, even some natives of Dawn have legends of their origins from another galaxy. But that's not a reason for us to intervene in military operations. Little Kuat's face was solemn. The reason why our Kuat family has risen to prominence is that we know our boundaries. It is very clearly defined, and among the countless restricted areas, the military is something we must never touch. I don't need you to remind me of Kuat's tradition. Onana Kuat raised her voice. Haven't you figured out the point? Now, Sheev Palpatine is also eyeing Dawn Planet. He has his own intelligence agency, and he must be more aware than we are of Dawn Planet and Tang Xiao's incredible technologies that were definitely not developed by themselves. Don't you remember what Dawn Planet was like 15 years ago? This should be an issue for the Republic's military to consider. We are only responsible for building warships. Little Kuat stood up abruptly, confronting his aunt, completely ignoring the breach of decorum. No, this is something we must consider. Onana Kuat said loudly. If the Galactic Republic acquires the technical reserves of Dawn Planet, they can create a second Kuat, a third Kuat, a fourth Kuat. And then, where is the value of our existence? This matter is obviously crossing the line. Let's go back, Little Kuat said. At the very least, it should be discussed with MP Gideon Danu, but as soon as he said it, he immediately regretted it. Gideon Danu was the representative of the Republic's parliament sent by the planet Kuat, but he was also Onana Kuat's political enemy. This enmity wasn't about personal hostility, but rather a difference in philosophy. Although Gideon Danu was supported by Onana Kuat, she had initially thought he was honest and easy to control. However, Gideon Danu turned out to be a man with great ambitions and a kind heart, more aligned with the Jedi Order. He sympathized with the Jedi, the poor, and even the backward planets in the Outer Rim. In fact, Onana Kuat, like the previous Kuats, was a typical inner circle noble, luxurious, corrupt, and pompous. But Gideon Danu was completely different. He was more consistent with the Jedi Order's values. It was precisely because of his efforts that some of the actions of the Kuat Power Shipyard in the late Republic were not so extreme. Otherwise, with Onana Kuat's character and style, the reputation of the Kuat Power Shipyard in the galaxy might have been as notorious as that of the Trade Federation. Onana Quarter viewed Gideon Danu as her greatest threat. She felt that Danu opposed her on almost every issue: taxes, slaves, plunder, monopolies. Danu obstructed her at every turn. This made Onana Quarter's frustration unbearable. Indeed, Gideon Danu could become a significant threat to Onana Quarter. As a member of the planet Quarter, his words carried the weight of the entire Quartet. Moreover, he was closely allied with Padme Amidala and Bail Organa. If he exerted pressure from the Parliament, Onana Quarter's position could be genuinely jeopardized. After all, the Kuat Power Shipyard was merely an industrial enterprise within the Galactic Republic, and the Republic was their ultimate authority. Upon hearing Gideon Danu's name, Onana Quarter's anger intensified. She shouted, "Member Danu has nothing to do with this matter. All he cares about is his position as a member. He has never considered our Kuat. In short, it has been confirmed. Our Kuat Power Shipyard will participate in this military operation in the model star area. With our unlimited productivity, even if we have to use warships to overwhelm them, we must completely take the Dawn Star. The technology of their warships should belong to us." A hint of madness gleamed in her eyes as she spoke. "If you insist on this, then this will be the beginning of the end for our Kuat power dock." Little Kuat stood up and walked away without looking back. "Get out! Get out!" Onana Quarter was already in a panic. Lila Blissex observed the scene, her eyes flickering as she began to calculate her next move. She bowed to Onana Quarter and said, "If there is nothing else, I will take my leave. I will continue to serve Kuat wholeheartedly and design a powerful warship no less than those of the Separatists." Onana Quarter, not wanting to hear any more, waved her hand dismissively, signaling Lila to leave. Lila Blissex returned to her luxurious residence. After dismissing all the servants, the mansion felt empty, and she couldn't help but recall the years spent with her father. She wandered to a room in the center of the mansion, filled with models of various parts and several powerful hosts. As she activated several holographic projections, it almost felt as if she were inside the designed battleship. But those days were in the past. Since her father's departure, she hadn't set foot in this room for a long time. Even for the design and research of warships, she relied on her powerful design team and the specialized laboratory at the Kuat Power Shipyard. But it wasn't enough. She had a strong premonition that the battleship she designed could never match the Separatists. Even if she introduced an Eclipse-level plan now, it wouldn't truly turn the tide. After pondering for a long time, she connected to a frequency band, Willix Blissex.